And welcome live into DETV Sports. We are back to regular scheduled programming here on a Monday evening ahead of a doubleheader once again here on Monday Night Football. Whole crew back together for what you can call a condensed show here as we prepare for a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Jason McCall back in the building. Matthew Maurer back in the building. Guys, we're coming off a show on Friday where we had a chance to hang out with Stephen A. Smith here. Cool experience as they shot First Take here in the DETV studio. So back for our first show since then, but a lot has happened over the weekend. Jason, big week coming up for you and the Hornets.
Yeah, it's homecoming week, so happy homecoming, DSU. Right now we got a little campaign going on with the D100. Tell how old you are with the D100 number, so go ahead and follow that trend on social media. But yes, it's a homecoming week following a great HBCU week last week. Valley bands yesterday. Shout out to all the bands that were there. Delaware State University, Virginia State University, Lincoln University, and Morgan State. So it was a great exhibition of bands and the HBCU culture. But this week is homecoming week, so I got my hat on, Hornets, and I just want to pull out the big chain tonight. Because people thought we were going to lose to the Bills. I say we were going to beat the brakes off the Bills, and that's what happened. But we'll talk about that when it comes. But,
that's right. I didn't even use it in my intro,
Monday.
But I knew Jason would reference it. For sure. Also, DSU Marching Band was at the Vet Fest that I was at for the radio on Saturday. They did a hell of a job, hell performance there in Middletown out of the China Wales. So they were everywhere over the weekend. They were like 4 different spots. Matthew, welcome back here on a Monday.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling? We chatted on Friday. I said your Niners might get back on track. They were able to do that for you here over the weekend. But in totality, how was your weekend here as we head back in? Also, NBA Media Day today.
Weekend was great, man. 49ers won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes played well. Justin Fields played well. I know people are going to say because they lost, but you watched the game. He literally almost brought him back. And the Eagles lost. So
it was a great weekend.
Great weekend.
I mean, a lot of hate up here on the desk to start off this show, but we're short time, so we're going to power through it.
Yeah.
Eagles did fall to 0-2 in Tampa. We'll get
Let's do it.
Matthew's response to what he thought the Birds or how they looked there in that game. The Chiefs, as Matthew also alluded to, they gain a win but lose more star power in that game at SoFi Stadium. No word on Rashee Rice yet, but out indefinitely, according to head coach Andy Reid. So the Chiefs continue to battle injuries all season long. The Broncos go on the road cross country to MetLife and take down the Jets as big underdogs there, as Aaron Rodgers unable to get that revenge on Sean Payton that he wanted from last year with Nathaniel Hackett. And how about the Vikings? Continue to roll. They go into Green Bay against Jordan Love in his first game back since suffering that MCL injury in Week 1 against the Eagles. And the Vikings able to hold on late, but they went up early and laid them down early in that game. Then, of course, NBA Media Day, big news over the weekend. We talked about it personally, but we're going to get to it here on the air a little bit later on in the show before our Monday Night Football preview. Karl Anthony Towns traded to the New York Knicks. The Knicks now have the third highest odds to win the NBA title in Vegas. So we'll talk about that going forward. But, Matthew, let's start with the Eagles and the Bucks. Dennis's team there. Dennis, I thought at some point would flash the Buccaneers flag. I don't know when it was coming. I just knew. Yeah, I knew it would be coming at some point. I'm sure it's already loaded up in all the software he's got over there. But Eagles guys went down 24-0 early in this game. The Bucks generated their highest pressure rate in a game since Week 6 of 2021. They had pressure on 49% of the snaps against that Eagles offensive line. Buccaneers were unbelievable on blitzing, 8 pressures and 4 sacks on 15 blitzes in that game. So they continue to bring pressure against Hurts and this Eagles offensive line. But how about Baker Mayfield, guys? Lit them up. 350, 2 touchdowns, and a rush touchdown. But again, they were down 24-0 early. So Baker and those guys got out to an early lead and then were able to ride that one out the rest of the way. Only bright spot for the Eagles, though, once again, was Saquon Barkley. 10 carries, 84 yards.
Was
just
Baker
10
playing?
carries.
Baker was playing?
Yeah, Baker was playing.
It looked like Brady.
He did, and how about those two with a little funny exchange there later on in that game? Maybe we'll talk about that. But Saquon, of course, 10 carries on 84 yards. And then we have a picture here that's going to come up on your screen, a tweet here from the Philadelphia Inquirer talking about the defense here with some of the missed tackles, as the Eagles' defense was what I thought was the main point, but we're going to talk about it here, open up discussion here at the desk, and we'll get that tweet for you here momentarily. But guys, initial reaction. Matthew, I want to start with you.
Yes, sir.
Eagles come in. They've been up and down so far this year. This one, though, they fall to 0-2. They go down to Tampa on the road. Again, those guys didn't seem like they were ready to play, right? 105-degree weather. They weren't ready for that. They were missing a couple guys on offense. but it didn't seem like, again, like the effort was there, especially defensively when you asked me what stood out to you in that loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have to do it. The beginning of the year, when we went through the free agency, I said on this show, they got Saquon Barkley. They ain't got no faith in Jalen Hurts. You know why I said that? Because they spent $4 million on the linebacker position. That's $6 million. Sorry, that's Brian. Was it Zach Braun?
Yeah, Braun.
That's who's the other gentleman from the kid from Tampa Bay, Devin White,
who has been a healthy scratch in every game so far.
Healthy scratch. If you ain't gonna bring him back against the team he played for, I don't know when you're gonna bring him back. I'm just saying. And then you guys thought you were getting, I guess, a discounted, Reddick and Bryce Huff, who clearly is a magician because he's vanished. He's like literally not on the field.
We'll talk about the way he's being used here in a second as well.
And I want to talk, about the $255 million man that everybody told me was elite. They said he was elite. Now I'm just going to say this. I just want to play this game with you. And they have lost, the Eagles have lost 10 out of the last 13 games.
That is correct.
You know who Jalen Hurts leads the league in right now? Know who leads the league
in the last 13 games?
No, this season so far.
Turnovers.
Beat Will Levis.
Wait a minute. Let him play tonight first before we throw it out there.
That's true. Definitely probably will take the lead tonight. That's a fact. Let me give him that.
But still not great news.
Not great news. Okay? Especially when you got, 4 interceptions, 5 fumbles.
And that fumble was a killer one this season.
Let me tell you something. Bull got the pocket awareness of a blind man. I'm just saying, there was a couple plays in that game where clearly his mind was just not in the pocket. Let's talk about that. Number 2, I ain't seeing the same runner. That man run like something else is bothering him. I don't know if it's the compounding from the brotherly push, shove, rugby play, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if that's what's caused him to slow down, but he don't get the same giddy up.
I agree with that.
And the crazy part is, the very guy who didn't have the giddy up in the beginning of his career, Baker Mayfield, actually ran out of the pocket and extended plays better. I don't understand that. I need somebody to help me with that. Somehow they've traded places. I don't know if it's vice versa or Freaky Friday, but somehow he's got Jalen Hurts' old speed and Hurts got his speed. I don't know what's going on. It's kind of crazy. Then, let me ask you this. So everybody has their favorite whipping boy, Justin Fields. Who do you think has a higher QB rating?
Right now.
No, since 2023 to now, who do you think has the higher QB rating?
Well, the way you're talking, it might just be that man, Justin Fields.
It's that man, Justin Fields, who everybody says is boo-boo, dookie, he's not good. No one's ever called him elite.
That's true.
Trying to figure out what's going on here in the land of the field. See, I really love the Eagles. See, I have a standard for the Eagles. And the standard is, when you say somebody is elite, you got to be elite. I saw that with that man's QB. I seen that with that man in Kansas City. I even saw Zach Purdy, the game manager, not have weapons and still look good. I don't understand what's going on. Now, everybody going to talk about the weapons that they didn't have. They didn't have Smith, and they didn't have Brown. Yeah, makes an impact. I ain't going to say it doesn't. Impact, yeah. But you got Barkley. You got Dallas Goedert. And you're supposed to have Jahan Dotson. And don't get me started. I ain't trying to hear this thing about Jahan Dotson ain't good. Jahan Dotson ain't just being used because your man don't know how to get him the ball. Let's talk about that. Because when we had Juwan Jennings, he get the ball from Purdy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if Dotson has less talent than Juwan Jennings. I don't know, man.
We'll find out, right? It says to be determined. But I will say, again, different offense over there in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan's offense, no matter, it's been over the years, it's plug and play.
It's in the offense.
It's plug and play.
That's the other problem I have with the Eagles. I still hear that Nick Sirianni got his hands in the offensive playbook. I even heard last week he was restricting calls for Kellen Moore to make certain plays. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with the Eagles right now. Is it Kellen Moore's offense or is it Nick Sirianni's offense? because for some reason Nick Sirianni still believes he's a good coach.
And let me tell you, I'm going to answer that for you.
Suck.
I don't think it matters whose offense it is, either of those guys, because I don't think any of them or either of them are, again, and maybe I'm being a little hasty here, Jason, but the fact is I don't think either of them are great play callers. The only success that we've seen Sirianni have offensively was when he had that guy Shane Steichen calling his plays over there with Jalen Hurts when the offense was RPO centered. That's when Jalen Hurts was at his best. And, again, they haven't gone back to that since that, again, on an elite quarterback right now, but he had an elite season that year when he was the favorite to win the MVP before that shoulder injury. It was a different offense. It was different coaching. And we all talk about coaching is such a big part of it. And for me, once they lost Shane Steichen, and we talk about it, the offense just hasn't been able to get back to where it usually is. But to Matthew's point, again, Jalen Hurts needs to play better. I don't think that is, I don't think that's anybody's keeping a secret when saying that. The turnovers got to stop. And to talk about the pocket awareness, again, the offensive line hasn't done. We just read the blitz pressures, and they can't handle the blitz. That's an offensive line problem. That's also a Jalen problem. I said it. We talked on Friday before we went on the air on our morning show. I think he holds on to the ball way too long, and that, again, was alluding to that pocket presence. What did you see out of Jalen Hurts? And, again, for me, I want to talk about it after, but my biggest issue in that game, though the offense didn't play well, was the defense.
Okay, so hate to do this to the man, but he deserves it. 18 of 30, 158. It's not gonna get you much anywhere. It's just not. Jalen Hurts is actually mid, and I'm gonna say it on TV.
Whoa.
He's not consistent with the deep ball down the field. And weapons or no weapons, he holds onto the ball way too long. And like you said, like Matt said earlier, he's not running. I think the hand maybe
Something's up.
the hands up was but too much tush push, so I guess he's not running anymore.
He used to run like a deer.
Well, he's not a running deal anymore. I don't know, maybe some baby oil involved in that. I don't know, but
Boy, run like a bison now.
he doesn't see the field as well as people said he did. And back to the thing about not having weapons. I heard someone, a close friend of mine, stated that Jalen Hurts was still better than Action Jackson, number 8 in Baltimore. I kind of went off on a little bit. He said the MVPs didn't matter because Jalen's been to a Super Bowl. I said, how does that make sense, sir? If we're talking about individual stats, individual performances,
Rex Grossman's been to a Super Bowl.
yeah, he's been to the Super Bowl, but it's nowhere close between Jalen and Lamar. And you got paid elite QB money to be elite. And then I posed the question, what superstar wide receiver have the Ravens ever actually had in their prime? Or what superstar wide receiver have the Ravens had, period? Silence. Crickets, correct. So that was my argument with that.
Been Bolden, man.
Bolden's probably the only Bolden and Steve Smith, but Bolden was
They see their end of the career.
Bolden was they were both
ended the career.
in the career. But we're talking about like a true number one.
No,
like
never happened.
if you put Lamar Jackson in that offense in Philly with those wide receivers, he's throwing for 5,000 yards and running for another 1,000
So you're
himself.
saying you put him in Kellen, see, that's where, come on, man.
No,
Kellen Moore's offense?
If you give Lamar those same wide receivers, you give Lamar those same wide receivers. He's throwing for 5,000.
I don't know about
I think
5.
Jalen Hurts is more fit for what the Ravens are running than Lamar to what the Eagles are running. Because what the Eagles are doing to me, again, is...
But the Eagles defense, like you said,
Yeah.
boy, the Eagles defense is ass.
And
I'm sorry.
Dennis, do we
it's
have
ass.
that tweet? If we do, if not, I'm going to read it here, though. This is from E.J. Smith. He works, of course, for the Philly Inquirer. He's an Eagles beat writer. Here we go. Check out this one. Next Gen Stats started the Eagles defense with 16 missed tackles in that game that led to an additional 105 yards for the Buccaneers. 16, and guess who had a team-high 5 missed tackles? Matthew, to your point, the linebacking core struggled.
Nakobe
Dean. Georgia Bulldogs looking like the Georgia Chihuahuas because Jalen Carter didn't do much either. And
again,
Jordan Davis ain't done much either.
So that's out of, again, you look at the defense as a whole and you're talking about Georgia. Jalen Carter has been the only good thing, I think, so far to this season. They doubled him a lot in that game yesterday. The Eagles didn't run anything off of that. They were cementing him in the middle, no stunts, no nothing to clear up pressure. Bryce Huff was used as an outside linebacker, completely different the way he was using that pass rush last year with the Jets, which just has me question what Vic Fangio is doing, right? Not really coaching. When you, as a coach, you know what they say is you got to make with what you have, right? Make the best of what you got, and you got to create your scheme direction your scheme towards the players you have and what they do best. That doesn't seem to be what Vic Fangio is doing so far. And again, the effort, that's what stood out to me yesterday. They went right down the field to Buxton on that opening drive with 5 screen passes to Evans and Godwin. That's just missed tackles, and that's not running to the football. That's just not getting 11 hats to the ball and making a play. It's a lack of effort, and I know it was 105 or whatever. That's no excuse to look like that as a football team. And that does go fall on the coach a little bit when your team is that unprepared for a game that time on the road. Yes, you're going in hurt or whatever, but as a team, you're supposed to rally when you got guys banged up. That was not the case. It was the opposite for the Eagles on the road yesterday.
And the Bucks clearly didn't respect the Eagles' pass defense because Baker threw 47 times. That means they were just getting first downs at will.
And if you watched the game last week where they got beat out, I think it was who beat them last week? It was the Broncos who beat Buccaneers in Tampa. They got pressure on Baker all game long, right up the middle. Eagles couldn't generate any pressure up the middle on that.
So it looks like Tampa Bay is the Eagles' kryptonite, color green. They ended their season last year, first round of the playoffs, and they go back to Tampa again and couldn't even get anything close in a revenge game. But moving on from this.
Hold on, we got to address one last part.
Sirianni, why is he still sitting there?
Yeah. Like I said last year.
Well, and again, we talked about it, and I think I sat here and I said 2-2, 1-3, whatever, we're going to have this discussion. It's become a real discussion. I just think if it happens again in another game, I think you can make that move. For me, this one you're going on the road with no offense, and then your defense lets up all those. I don't think now's the time. I don't think that's the game you use as the example when you go in there on the road with all those injuries.
But the problem I have with Nick Sirianni is he's supposed to be the CEO. CEO of what? I have no clue. Because it's not the Philadelphia Eagles. Because he has vets like Slay putting out the tweet that he put out. And everybody knew the tweet was coming. And it was a terrible tweet. Talks about 28 picks and counting, 150 pass breakups and counting, 6 Pro Bowls, all pro. When you talk bad about me, forget to mention the greatness of me too.
He's not that good either.
He's not that good. You're not that guy anymore, bro. And for whatever reason, if you were as close to that guy as you were, what happened with Godwin? I mean, dude, he was catching stuff all around you. And I mean, again, look, I respect Slay, but dog, you ain't that guy no more. And respectfully, a lot of cornerbacks, this kind of happens to them after a while, because Father Time takes away some of your athletic gifts, and if you don't have the mind to make the adjustments, you can fade.
I'm going to go there. I think Slay got some of those Pro Bowls because somebody had to be selected from Detroit. Like, that's just my personal opinion. And CJ Garner-Johnson needs to just shut out completely.
Bad start.
No, but he talks so much trash to be a below-average defender with Pro Football Focus numbers. Like, just be quiet, dude. Like, you're not really good. You had a free agent deal last year. You had to come back to the Eagles because where you went, you couldn't do anything.
Well, he was, again, 2 years ago, that Super Bowl team, he led the league in interceptions, was a fantastic safety for that team, was the leader of that defense. Last year, he goes to Detroit. They go to the NFC Championship. He was banged up for a lot part of that year. But, I mean, coming back into this season, I don't think you would have thought he would have played this poorly to start the year.
He only led Philadelphia interceptions the Super Bowl year because the front seven was so insane with the pressure they were getting on the quarterbacks.
That's good, very good.
Other than that, when he doesn't have that type of production up front, the front seven, he's on the island out there, and
Hutchinson was putting tons of pressure in Detroit.
And there's a problem totally with the Eagles. It's not just it's offense and defense, and
special teams. Obviously, that was the issue that almost lost in the game.
Worst play I ever seen.
It's a lack of leadership. And
I agree with you. And again, and you lost some of those guys, right? Kelsey, Fletcher Cox. I mean, you still got BG, but that's about it out of those guys that have been there as the leaders of that team for some time.
He's the most consistent defensive player.
It is. At his age, yeah, agreed with
crazy.
that. And again, I know we have to move on, but just quickly, you guys, would you fire Sirianni today?
Yes. What are we waiting
Not
for?
today, but seat is high.
What are we waiting for?
He'd been fired in the locker room. He wouldn't have flown back to Tampa with him.
They've lost the last 10 out of 13 games. What are you waiting for? You think he's going to turn it around? And clearly, the way that Hurts is answering, the way that Barkley's even answered, that's the other smoking gun no one's talking about.
That's a good point before we move on, is that Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni thing, obviously they are not.
No.
I don't even know if they're I mean, you could say friendly, but they're not, they're not on the same page. And I don't know. You obviously can't say they don't like each other, but there is a disconnect between those
Can't
two, and
respect
we'll
that
see
guy.
how that goes forward. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's about respect. We'll find out. Can they rebound, or will Sirianni even be the coach next time we're sitting here on Monday of next week? Let's move on to the Chiefs and the Chargers ugling over there in the AFC West. The Chiefs continue to play some ugly football, but find themselves at 4-0. They get the 17-10 win, though they do lose star wide receiver Rashee Rice on the interception thrown by Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes actually doing the damage, trying to make a tackle, instead collides with Rashee Rice's knee on the sideline. Waiting for confirmation there. He's going to seek a second opinion. We just received a note from Justina Taylor, I believe, just saying that. So we'll see what happens there. Kelsey got more involved after the injury, but guys, now the Chiefs have lost Pacheco, Hollywood, and Rashee Rice, all for extended periods of time and potentially the season. Here I have a video here of Peter Schrager on Colin Cowherd's show here this morning, talking about what the Chiefs could possibly do to help revamp that offense a little bit.
0-3 tonight. They're playing Monday Night Football. Makes a ton of money, but is there something we can work out contract-wise? I said this, and I got a lot of pushback. It doesn't come from the Rams guys, but I would call on Cooper Kupp. I would see. I would call every team. I would call 31 teams, and I would say, all right, your team is not going to the Super Bowl this year. You're playing this amount of money.
Rams could take picks. They want a quarterback eventually.
Oh, my gosh. Look, I love Kupp, and Stafford loves Kupp, and I know McVay loves Kupp, so they're probably not going to trade Kupp, but it doesn't hurt to call and see, okay, you're 1-3, and Puka's out for the next 4 weeks, and Kupp's got – so what would it take to get this future Hall of Famer? Because I would assume every team picks up the phone, and then you could just say, no, we're good.
Yeah.
You go down the list on a lot of these names, and I think those Jaguars veteran wide receivers like Christian Kirk, like those types, like
Yep, total pro.
all these guys can
Really
help
good.
the Chiefs.
So yeah, Peter Schrager, who's one of the best in the business in terms of predictions and kind of seeing into that NFL future, says the Chiefs could look into guys like Amari Cooper being a top option with some of that trade value. He has all of his salary converted into a bonus at the beginning of the year, so that'd be an easy financial trade target. Deontay Johnson, a final year of his contract in Carolina, having a great start to his season. Adam Schefter reporting that he will not be back in Carolina next year no matter what happens or how well he plays. Cooper Kupp, who's injured with that high ankle sprain, are going to reach out to Sean McVay. Word is they probably will not trade Cooper Kupp, but they are going to reach out there. And then DeAndre Hopkins for the Tennessee Titans. So some of these teams, guys, that have had struggling starts to the year, for teams that may not be playing for anything, trying to get some late draft picks or just something in exchange for these guys, the Chiefs are going to be willing to wheel and deal here and try to bring in. They need some receiver help. And what name do you guys think stands out, and how worried are you about the Chiefs as the Super Bowl favorite still, going for the first three-peat in NFL history? They need to make a move here. Any of those names really stand out to you, or where they should go and pivot to this wide receiver position?
How about you start using somebody in-house? Travis Kelce, anybody? Like, throw the ball to him. Like actually use him. You know, number one. But Amari Cooper would probably be the best fit, but I don't think Cleveland's going to let go of Amari Cooper. I just don't see it happening.
Well, if they lose again, maybe you start thinking about it. Deshaun Watson continues to be horrible. They're 1-3. If they lose this week, they'll be 1-4. Hard to make the playoffs at 1-4. It's rarely done there. Matt, any names stick out to you, Matthew, about what the Chiefs should do there with Patrick Mahomes? But again, they've proven that maybe they don't need it.
I mean, I wouldn't be in desperation mode, but I'd pick up the phone, entertain a couple teams, see if maybe we can get Cooper Kupp, maybe we can get DeAndre Hopkins, see what teams are willing to give a little bit. Sure, I'd pick up the phone and hear guys out. But I mean, I like they're involving Xavier Worthy more. Jonas Gray's getting involved more. So, I mean, they're making moves to try to get the offense, a much more shot in the arm. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if there's anything they can do to really replace all the offense that they've lost.
Yeah, so we'll see what they can do. You guys still view them as your favorites to win the Super Bowl, even with all these injuries.
Who
I'm
said
going to go to Matthew because I know that Matthew and I.
I mean,
at least
look,
had them
last
as
year
the favorites coming in.
everybody poo-pooed it. Everybody
That's
said
right.
there's no way, and I kept telling everybody they got Mahomes, bro. Like, I don't know how to tell people that any other way.
That's right.
They got Mahomes. As long as they got Mahomes, they got a chance. I know people don't like it, but it's just the facts. Like, they have that guy, and that guy decides he wants to pull some magic, he'll pull magic. And you'll be losing.
And referees throw flags. Yeah, you're right.
And again, though, not only do they have Patrick Mahomes, they got Big Red in Andy Reid as well, one of the best play callers, if not the best play caller maybe in NFL history.
No,
what do you
I'm
guys
not,
think?
No, I'm not doing that.
You don't think so? Why not?
No.
With all those Super Bowls?
No.
And even what he did with Donovan McNabb and the Eagles before that? Well, do you have another name? I know this is put this discussion for another time, but I think he's getting to the point where he nears Bill Belichick for best coach of all time.
Why are we hating on Andy Reid?
Yeah.
I said he's the best play caller of all time. I'm not going to do that.
I mean, he might be.
He might be, though.
I don't know.
Again, this is a conversation. We don't have time for this tonight, but that is a conversation we'll bring up again later.
Mike
maybe
Shanahan.
Bill Walsh?
Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan.
How many Super Bowls does Mike Shanahan have?
2.
I'm going Bill Walsh, but
I mean, the architect of everything.
And again, but again, Andy Reid's career not concluded just yet either. But I think when you take the success from both teams, like who's been able to do it, both quarterbacks, both teams, I just think there's nobody else that's even able to do it like that.
The only reason why I say Mike Shanahan because his offense has been copied by so many offensive coaches since. Andy Reid's offense hasn't been copied. Shanahan's has clearly been copied.
Again, it's a copycat league, so everybody's always copying. But the Chiefs still have him as my favorite because of that man, Patrick Mahomes, as Matthew said, going forward. Now, I want to talk about the team that cost Jason his card this weekend here at the Delaware Sports Lottery, and that is the New York Jets at home at MetLife Stadium. 7.5-point favorites to the visiting Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. We all remember what Sean Payton had to say about Nathaniel Hackett last year when he took over the head coaching job of the Denver Broncos, saying Nathaniel Hackett, quote, paraphrasing here, had done the worst coaching job in NFL history. Well, that started some bad blood between the two teams and Aaron Rodgers last year. The Jets got a victory with Zach Wilson over the Broncos last year, and Aaron Rodgers kind of wanted to taste that victory this year, guys, and was unable to do it. The Broncos go in. The defense was lights out. And, of course, Greg Zuerlein misses a late 50-yard field goal, and the Broncos hold on to a 10-9 victory. Bo Nix tossed his first touchdown pass of the year in the ballgame. The Jets committed 13 penalties for 90 yards, and Pat Surtain locking up Garrett Wilson in the game. Breece Hall had 10 carries for 4 yards. And how about this stat about Bo Nix, guys? The first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to win a game in which he averaged fewer than 2.5 yards per pass attempt. 25 passes for 60 yards in that win against the Jets. Are the Jets who we thought they were?
This game, if garbage had a name, it would be this game. I mean, this was the worst display of football I've ever seen. I mean, it was awful to watch. I mean, 12 or 25 for 60 yards, really? In a professional football game. And Breece Hall only getting the ball for 10 carries. In that type of game where, you know, it's a defensive struggle and then the rain affected, but only 10 carries in that game. Braylon Young didn't get any carries. Braylon Allen didn't get any carries either. So what? That's horrible play calling. That's not just defense. That's horrible play calling on the Jets side of the ball. And the Jets are not who we thought they were because we did not think they would lose to the Broncos with Bo
I
Nix.
certainly did not, that's for sure. And then here's a video of Aaron Rodgers talking after the game. They had a crucial penalty on a false start with that offensive line. We all know how Aaron Rodgers has been one of the best all time and using that cadence as a weapon and getting guys to jump off sides and for big plays. They got a penalty late in the game, and he was asked about it after and about what head coach Robert Saleh had to say about it.
The cadence specifically, Robert said that might be something you guys have to dial back a little bit. Is that something you think could potentially help the situation?
Hold them accountable. I mean, we haven't had an issue. We've had one false start. Morgan had one false start, I believe, until this. So, you know, it's been a weapon. We use it every day in practice. We don't, you know, we rarely have a false start. And to have, I don't know, 5 today, it seemed like, 4 or 5. Yeah, that seems like an outlier. I don't know if we need to make mass changes based on, you know, kind of an outlier game.
So right there, Rodgers was asked. Saleh had his press conference right before Aaron Rodgers, and they asked Robert Saleh about him using the cadence, and Robert Saleh said, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't do that as much. I don't know if our guys can handle it." Something along those lines. And then they asked Rodgers, and he said, "Yeah, that's kind of if you want to be." You heard the clip there. But Aaron Rodgers kind of saying like, hey, we're going to be like a daycare here, a child. We don't need to, if we're going to use the cadence, we got to learn when to listen to the cadence and when to snap the football. What do you guys think about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets going forward this year?
I believe that Aaron Rodgers is quickly showing us that sometimes quarterbacks fall off. And I don't think this is the same Rodgers that we've been used to seeing. Look, he's 40 years old, but I think he needs to have a lot more talent than he did in the past to make himself do as well. I mean, that happens a lot. I mean, I saw it with Brady, and you've seen it with Peyton Manning. Like, they get older and they need more weapons in order to return the same value that they once did with less. So, I mean, that kind of happens. So, look, I think the Jets will squeak into the playoffs still, but I think they're going to be for a fight. I don't think they can continue to lose games that they should be winning. I mean, that's just it at the end of the day. I mean, the whole offense did not look good.
Oh, awful. After you thought maybe they turned the corner to last week, after they finally looked a little bit decent in that one, Jason, they go back to looking pretty bad here in this game. And I will say Robert Saleh might be on the hot seat, too. I'd be looking at maybe the Jets coaching job as well, I think.
He better be on the hot seat. He better be, because now there's no excuse. You have a talent now, and you're still not doing anything. And and you can't have friction between your star player and yourself. But Aaron Rodgers is the equivalent to LeBron in the NBA as far as he's a coach killer. I mean, it's what it is.
8 minutes to go here before we wrap it up, and we'll see if the Jets can get back on track. I know the weather wasn't great in that game, so maybe that's something to do a little bit with the offense, but no excuse to lose that one to the Broncos at home there over the weekend. Darnold and the Vikings, guys, they stay undefeated, 31-29. Green Bay making a late run. Jordan Love, 394 touchdowns, turned the ball over, I believe, 4 times, 3 interceptions and a fumble. Sam Darnold is the first quarterback to win and have 2 or more passing touchdowns in each of his first 4 career starts for a team in the Super Bowl era. Guys, is Sam Darnold and the Vikings for real? Excuse me. I know, in my opinion, KOC, Kevin O'Connell, should be the lead for Coach of the Year this year. He was doing a great job the last 2 years, 13-4, won the division 2 years ago. Are the Vikings for real? They go into Green Bay and beat these guys. Now 4-0, undefeated in the NFC North, a very tough division.
Vikings are for real. Sam Darnold, it's clicking now. Whatever is clicking in his career, it's clicking. And yeah, shout out to my son's godfather, brother JB. He's a big Vikings fan. He told me in the summertime the Vikings have a top 5 defense, and
Yeah,
so far
good,
he's living to the billing. So
one of the best blitzing teams in the league.
The defense is carrying them, and Darnold just has to not turn the ball over, but he's actually making plays, winning plays. If you had to say MVP frontrunner right now, it honestly would have to be Sam Darnold.
And again, you look at it, the offense and the defense have been fantastic. Once again, the offense hangs 31 points on the board and another victory. And that defense, though, again, kind of let the pedal off the gas late in this one. They had such a big lead early on. But when your defense and offense are playing that good, we'll see if they can keep it up and if they are for real. Quickly, before we move into the no huddle, Jason, the Ravens bust the Bills in Baltimore. I mean, we talked about it last week. The Bills had played, in our opinion, 3 teams that were not, and even in my opinion, average teams. They had beaten those teams, and everybody was high on the Bills, and including me. You know me, I like Josh Allen and the Bills. But we know they might come back to earth, or we kind of figured that they might come back to earth when they played a real football team this year, and they ran into a real football team last night.
Yeah, we don't lose when we wear all black. Y'all see this? Crown him. King Henry. First play of the game, 87 yards. Longest touchdown run in Ravens history. Hit the top speed of 21.29 miles per hour. Mind you, this man is 6'3", 250 doing this. Running past DBs who are at least 7 to 8 years younger than him. And the defense played lights out. Kyle Van Noy, sipping from the fountain of youth. Again, he's had 2 sacks in every game this season so far.
Yeah, how about that? I think was it 5 sacks in 4 games or 4.5 in 4 games? Yeah.
Marlon Humphrey's playing back at a Pro Bowl level at corner.
Hey, Lamar had to straighten him out, huh?
And yeah, he had to. Marlo, hey man, hey Marlo,
Yeah, damn right.
And Kyle Hamilton he's Kyle Hamilton, man. And now you're seeing what the Ravens can do with a solid running game. I give hand claps to the offensive line. You finally played a complete game. Still had some penalties, but you played a complete game for the first time all year. And that's really that. The difference is the offensive line.
Yeah, and again, the Eagles could have had Kyle Hamilton. They took Jordan Davis, that Georgia Bulldog that we talked about earlier. What a heck of a player Kyle Hamilton is.
And the Cowboys could have had Derrick Henry. He lives in Dallas, but they
Jerry Jones.
They decided to go with Ezekiel Elliott.
That's right. They did decide to go with the best running back room of 2014. with Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook there. Ravens, again, going in through the first 3 games, we knew that they were not a 1-2 type team with the way they've been playing. And, of course, they're starting to get it going. Of course, the best team in the regular season of all of last year.
You know what, Nick? Yeah, since you were such a big fan of Josh Allen, you rep the
Listen,
go ahead.
I don't know if I can I'll put on for you, but I will say, again, I picked the Ravens in this game, though.
Go ahead, you know. There you go. See,
I picked him in the game.
There you go. All right, nigga, bad one don't get bad milk. There you go.
And they will, and you're going to get. I'm going to keep that first touchdown streak going, or that anytime touchdown streak going tonight for Monday Night Football. We've got a great streak that we're going to keep going forward. But bad news coming in here from San Francisco, Matthew. A report today saying that Christian McCaffrey, just in exchange here from Adam Schefter, has been dealing with Achilles tendonitis now in both legs, and not just the one. So
Shocker.
it's gotten into the other. Kyle Shanahan saying, "Oh no, it's kind of been like that," but that's the first report
We ain't seen him yet.
that we've got from them.
knows.
He just got back from Germany yesterday.
Got that treatment. Yeah.
So
He done.
yeah,
He
we'll
got
see
that
how
Kobe treatment, that
goes.
Kobe and Gilbert
Jordan Mason, a
Arenas,
big day once again.
plasma
yesterday.
platelet. Yeah, that's not
All
happening.
right, let's run the
Yeah,
no
you're
huddle
not
before we get into Monday Night Football. Quick
Go.
preview, guys. Let's start with the Texans, Matthew. They need a late C.J. Stroud touchdown to beat the Jags, who were coming off that pitiful performance to the Bills last week. So they were in a spot where they had to look a little better. They did, but C.J. Stroud downs them late. Guys, Nico Collins is the first player in Texans history with 450 receiving yards in the first 4 games of the season. He has been absolutely lights out. How high are you on C.J. Stroud and the Texans this year?
Still in. Yeah, I still like him.
Oh yeah,
Can they win the AFC?
For sure.
There you go.
they're definitely a contender. That's not even a conversation.
Let's talk a little bit about the Bengals, guys. They pick up their first win
Yeah,
of the
okay.
season, 34-24
Not a
over the
believer.
Panthers. Their defense has been one of the worst in the league. Through a month of football, the Bengals have been pretty bad. 38 points to Washington in Week 3. They allowed Carolina to rack up 375 yards of offense, and they converted 50% of their 14 third downs in that game. They ran for 155 yards, of course, and remained into that game till late. The Cincinnati defense, Luke Anaromo, has to figure something out. They have been atrocious. And, of course, Jamar Chase with his 63-yard catch is now in a tie with Odell Beckham Jr. for the most 60-plus yard touchdowns before turning 25. So, guys, I ask you, we were low on Cincinnati last week. They do get a win over Carolina, 1-4. Things, though, not looking good for the Bengals. They a playoff team?
No.
There you go, simultaneously answering with no there for the Bengals. We'll find out, but not looking good for Cincinnati. Bears improve to 2-2 with the win over the Rams. Caleb Williams 4 scoring drives, but the big game was DeAndre Swift. A huge game on the ground for him, and then DJ Moore has now caught a touchdown from 3 different number 1 picks, Caleb Williams, Baker Mayfield, and Cam Newton. So a fun stat for you guys there. But DeAndre Swift with a huge game on the ground. The Bears found something if they get to the run game finally, start running the football.
That's how you protect. I mean, you protect a rookie
What you do,
quarterback.
a rookie quarterback.
Where
There
you
you
run the
go.
ball. Like that's not rocket science.
Yeah, it worked out for the Bears there. We'll see if they can keep it rolling. Young Ho Koo drills a 58-yard field goal with 2 seconds left to beat
Young
the
Ho
Saints.
Koo. Yeah.
Special teams for the Falcons. Matthew scored a touchdown. They also kicked the game-winning field goal. This was the second victory in Falcons history where they scored 0 offensive touchdowns and 2 or more defensive or special teams touchdowns. Last time it was done Week 9 of the 1977 season. Who do you have winning that division there in the NFC South? The Bucks, the Saints, or the Falcons?
I'm gonna go with the Bucks, but I will say Koo's probably the second best kicker in the league.
There you He made it, though, yesterday, 58
I
yarder.
think everybody knows Tucker's.
I want to get your opinion.
Not so fast. Active kicker right now in the last 2 years.
Aubrey?
It's Aubrey from Dallas.
I
I gotta say Aubrey, man. Aubrey is hitting everything.
He has
50,
more
60.
fantasy points than I believe. I think he'd be like quarterback 13 or something in fantasy as a quarterback.
That's because they suck.
That's because they can't convert in the red zone.
Yeah, they suck. Yeah.
Well, he's kicking like he's kicking.
No,
with
Aubrey's a
accuracy.
good kicker.
Yeah.
He's top 5 to me. I just, I have him 4th.
Well, let me ask you this, Matthew.
I was
49ers steamroll the Patriots
Yep.
in New England. Brandon Ayuk still struggling a little bit. They had a lot of
Definitely
injuries
is.
in that game. CMC remains sidelined. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
What'd you pick up from that game? We got a couple guys back in it. Any confidence going forward after that
Oh,
performance?
for sure. I mean, I think we see that Purdy for real. That Purdy for men.
we've been saying it now
that
for
Purdy
2
for men
years.
cologne smell good, don't it? Yeah, we do our thing, man.
Brock
It's gonna be
Purdy
good.
leading the NFL in passing yards.
Yeah. I gotta do this for Matt because this is for myself too. I want y'all to realize that Brock Purdy's not mid, so please stop having this conversation.
Yeah,
Brock Purdy's not
hopefully we can
average.
move on from that.
Stop having this conversation. Brock Purdy has the highest passer rating for a QB in his first 5 seasons. I wouldn't say it's like 112 point something, and number 2 is Mahomes. I just want y'all to understand the level of accuracy he's throwing the ball with.
Yeah.
So stop the game manager BS. Stop the he's mid. He's not.
Not mid.
Brock Purdy is actually an elite quarterback.
And then we'll have that
when you put his
discussion going
when you
forward,
put his
too.
numbers up there, and now he's doing it without the weapons there.
That's a fact.
And Jawan Jennings is a stud,
he's a
guys.
stud, man.
He's a stud.
He's a stud. And again, we're going to find out, Matthew, we've been talking about it for the last year. Next year, they got to pay him. So then we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah.
But I don't, again, everybody's picking
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
but Brock Purdy is a top 10 NFL quarterback. I want y'all to just stop the BS, stop the hate. There's not 10 quarterbacks that outside of
That's a fact.
Stop, please stop.
It's all facts.
Yeah.
I'm just leave it there.
Before we leave that, let's get your opinion one more time. Jaden Daniels remains hot. Commanders continue to
What'd I
roll.
say?
They go to Arizona. Cliff Kingsbury gets his revenge. They lead the division in the NFC East.
What-
Will they finish that way?
Yes.
Matthew, do you have faith that the Commanders can win that NFC East this year?
I absolutely do. Yeah.
There you go.
I have no faith in Kyler Murray, the midget man. No. No faith.
Arizona, they were off to a hot start. Have not been good, though, the last
They got
few
spanked
weeks. So,
yesterday.
yes, they did. Cliff Kingsbury, he spanked them up.
It's his head.
And the game ball. We're
You
going
got
back
the
to
game ball. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Before moving to Monday Night Football, quickly here, a few minutes, guys. NBA Media Day was today. Everybody's back. We saw Ben Simmons back with the Brooklyn Nets talking about how he's excited
Ben Simmons
for the
back.
upcoming
Pun
school
intended.
year. We talked about
Yeah.
the odds. The Sixers third in the East behind the Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Biggest storylines for you guys coming into the NBA season. For me, it's that Eastern Conference and those teams sitting up there. Who's going to come out? You know, how good are the Knicks and the Sixers? Can they challenge the Celtics in the East and in the playoffs this year? That's what I'll be
Knicks ain't
focusing
challenging
on.
nothing.
So, what is your guys' biggest storylines coming into the NBA season?
What the hell's going to happen in Milwaukee?
Yep.
That's my storyline. And what the hell's going to happen in Phoenix?
Well, let me ask, do you think either of those teams finish as top 4 or 5
Dame
seeds?
Lillard not top 50, top 75. Just letting y'all know.
Just a reminder, man.
Just a
Throw that in
reminder.
there.
Really a reminder.
Every couple shows.
Mid.
I do think
CJ McCollum, same thing.
Milwaukee's record and where they go is the story of the season, because if they're not top 2 by All-Star break, you're gonna see some players get moved out.
With the way the Knicks and the Sixers have improved,
Chris Middleton's also still having his issues. So
Yeah, he's
that's
still not
been
healthy.
lingering
Yeah.
for years now.
that's huge.
We'll see what happens. Who you got? I'm sure you're rolling with the Celtics. What team do you like in the East heading into
Celtics.
Celtics? Me too.
And I'd
obviously.
say
We'll go
I'd
with
say
odds.
the Sixers after that.
Yeah, I would say that as well.
A lot of talk with the Knicks after that Carl Anthony
No.
Towns trade.
No.
We're going to dive
No.
into that as we
That
get
man's
closer
soft as Charmin
to the
tissue.
NBA
fact.
season, and we'll go over that trade. We'll
Like
have
a
enough
wet
time to
donut
talk
in the
about
rain.
the trade. And then Monday Night Football preview. Kickoff in just about a minute
Fact.
here for Titans-Dolphins. Guys, your picks. Dolphins minus 2.5
Get up.
at home with Snoop Huntley under center today for them. Will Levis on the road in
Snoop,
Miami. Who you
overrated.
taking in this one? Miami minus 2.5 at home against
Taking
the Will
Miami,
Levis
man.
Titans.
I ain't going Will Levis ever.
I'm
Should
not
have kept
going
Malik
with,
Willis.
I'm not going with Will Levis, but I'm taking the Titans because of Spears, man.
Okay. I can't
I'm
do
going to have to
this.
split the difference here. Give me...
It's a poop
No
game.
Jeffrey Simmons up front for the Titans there. The defense, I think, take a step back. Give me the Dolphins with Snoop, Pro Bowl quarterback in the past. Give me Snoop Huntley leading the Dolphins to a 3-point victory tonight. Now we got a better one here, guys, though, coming up at 8:15. Seahawks and the Lions. Seahawks undefeated, though they played 3 teams that aren't the best. And then you got the Lions at 2-1 coming in. Detroit at home, 4-point favorites at home tonight at Ford Field. Jared Goff is 8-0 in his last 8 primetime games. Pretty good statistic. Where are you guys going tonight?
Seahawks, man.
I'm going the Lions. It's the same thing we saw with the Bills and the Ravens. The Bills beat 3 teams that weren't any good. I knew coming in the Ravens were going to bust them up on Sunday Night Football. The Seahawks have beat 3 terrible teams. They're going to go up here against the Lions, who have been battle tested. So for the first 3 weeks of the season, Lions beat
You
them.
think Lions have been
covered
battle
the 4.
tested?
More, yeah, they beat the Bucks and a few other teams that have been decent. The Bucks, I think the Vikings or the Packers, one of those teams. 3 good teams.
The Seahawks have the new Legion of Boom brewing out there. People sleep on
I'm
that.
a big Weatherspoon guy.
Weatherspoon is.
I'm a big Weatherspoon
He's a
guy.
beast. And let me just say this. Everybody keeps, golf is mid and waiting. He's the mid and waiting. So I'm just saying.
He's
Like
definitely. He's definitely.
And not
at the
only
altar.
that, this season has been statistically, he's been way worse this season than last season to start
like
these
I told
four.
everybody.
You mean he's been Rams golf again? Okay.
Yeah.
Even worse than Rams golf.
This is about what he
but
is.
He's before McVay Rams golf.
He just has the talent.
Through the first
Around
4
him.
games this season. But give me the Lions there in that one covering the spread. Let's, guys, anytime touchdowns. Been hot. Let's stay hotter. You can pick either of the 2 games. Who gets in the end zone tonight?
Jameson Williams.
James Williams. I like that. Jason?
DK Metcalf.
DK. I like that one too. For me, give me JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Give me Waddle because I got him on my fantasy.
Yeah,
Oh, man,
Waddle, come on,
gotta
brother.
score,
You gotta score, bro.
You gotta do your dance.
There you have it. You have our picks for tonight. Have some fun watching Monday Night Football. We will see you next week. Peace.
Good Morning Wilmington is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Good morning, Wilmington. Good morning, Wilmington. I say good morning, Wilmington. Wake up, y'all. Come on.
Good morning, Wilmington. What's going on? It's your main man, Big Eye, the talk of the town, Mr. DETV, here with my lovely co-host,
Vincenza. Good morning, Wilmington, and good morning, Ivan. Wow, does that feel good?
I know. Welcome back. Welcome back.
I know.
Welcome back. And before we get started, we started something new, right? And we got DJ Kiss in the building who's going to be starting off. She's so dope, though. But DJ, do you know DJ Kiss?
I've had the pleasure of getting to know DJ Kiss, and we are so fortunate to have her here live in the plaza for Good Morning Wilmington
Yo, throw the camera over there to her real quick. There she go. Give a wave to the camera, DJ Kiss. There she go, live in the studio.
This is so great. We have a live DJ here. We've upgraded a little bit since we've taken a break, but man, does it feel good to be back.
Oh my gosh, it does. And today marks the premiere of our new season, and this is season number 4. 4 years with Good Morning Wilmington here in Delaware. So the question is, did you miss us?
Did you?
Did you?
I think you did. I think they did.
So we're back here, and today, yes, we have some amazing people. We have, Yvonne Detweiler.
Oh, who doesn't know Yvonne Detweiler, the president and CEO of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. Wow, what an honor to have her here live. We will chat with her a little bit later. Also, we have Chris DeMarco and Ashley Cooper. They're here to talk about their experience with swimming with the sharks.
Woo!
I'm here about that. This is a pitch contest, so I'm here. I'm here for that.
Let me tell you something.
And then last but not least,
wait.
Okay.
Daggone Ashley made her brother go by looking for a drone this weekend.
Wow.
Droneversity. That's all I'm going to say. Droneversity.
So we will have the opportunity to talk to both of them, the winner and the People's Choice winner.
Yeah.
So very excited to talk to the both of them. And then last but not least, we have Dennis Carradine back here on Good Morning Wilmington to talk about his upcoming event.
Yeah.
He's
an awesome guy.
He's always busy, but the founder and the president of the Trauma Survivors Foundation. So very excited to talk to all of our guests and get to know them a little bit more. But Ivan, I have a surprise for you.
What's that? Oh shoot!
I have a surprise for you.
I didn't bring you anything.
No. Okay. This is actually for the both. This is for the both of us. So I'm going to place this right here, a little gentle, right here.
You got it.
Okay. So there is a card. So here it is. I'll let you open it up.
Oh wow. Okay. To Ivan and Vincenza, wishing you both success. Love you both. Stay safe. Keep smiling. Enjoy the journey. Love, one of the biggest fans.
Bernadette.
All the way from Brooklyn.
She sent this gift.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, all the way from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And I've been holding on to it until we started back. And she's like, you have to have it. Open it up for the first show. So I'll let you open this one. And then I'll open this one.
All right.
And
all right. Shout out to Bern and the fam, man. Bern watches every episode.
She does.
All the way in Brooklyn, New York.
She really does. She tunes in, she shares.
No, she didn't. I love it. Somebody in Brooklyn. Look, so the mug is somebody in Brooklyn loves you. All right. Okay, Bern, we got the message. We got the message. Oh God, we love it, love it, love it.
Look at that.
Thanks, Bern.
This is great. Thank you, Bernadette. Thank you so
God.
much. Our biggest fan all the way. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
We'll add it to our mugs.
There you go.
Good Morning Wilmington mugs.
Boom.
How perfect.
There we go.
So I was very excited to open that gift with you. I didn't even peek. I didn't even peek. Nope. I was very excited and holding on to it. So thank you again.
Thank you,
Always
Bern.
thank you. But let's talk about this medal.
That's
this is
right.
something that I noticed and I saw some
hell of a
pictures.
weekend, baby.
I saw some pictures. So share with our audience and viewers a little bit about this accomplishment.
Okay, well, actually, when you see the recap video, just laugh. Don't even worry about if I ran it or not. Okay. Claymont Community Center hosted a 5K this weekend, and it was the proceeds went to the seniors, families, and the programs that they have. And I was the host, and DETV was the media sponsor. And
Amazing.
Dennis, can you show them videos real quick? If you got them, you got them. And it was fun. It was really fun.
Was it a great turnout?
Oh my gosh, it was. I had 85 people register, and if you didn't see it, does he have the video? Are we gonna come back to it? Does he have the video? Okay. All right, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that.
And you
one.
enjoyed your experience,
I
I'm
enjoyed-
sure.
yeah.
And I'm sure it was truly impactful to have you there.
It was just awesome seeing everyone just come
Right.
together for a common cause. But we're gonna come right back to that. He's uploading the videos right now. Let's talk about HBC. Let's talk about
A lot
Swim
has
with the
happened.
Sharks.
Yes.
Swim with the Sharks
Yes.
last week.
Yes. So
Freaking amazing. Freaking amazing.
you attended the event?
I emceed that one too.
Wow, you're very busy.
I'm trying to tell you. Yeah.
You're very busy, so you had the opportunity to MC the Swimming with the Sharks event, and then you were the host of the Claymont Community Center 5K run.
And
you
then ran over
participated.
to Vet Fest.
Okay.
Brian DeSabatino's Vet Fest in Whitehall. So Swim with the Sharks, right? Swim with the Sharks was just an outstanding pitch contest that they had, that the Newcastle County Chamber had down at Penn Cinema Theater.
Okay.
I think this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, Yvonne, record-breaking attendance? Standing room only.
Wow.
Over 150 people showed up to support the pitch contest.
Amazing.
Simply just awesome. So shout out to everyone that participated, but also shout out to the winners. First place winner went to Ashley Christopher. And oh my gosh, I'm ready to have a drone show
Ashley
outside.
Cooper.
Ashley Cooper. I'm thinking HBCU week.
I know.
I'm thinking, sorry.
I know, we have
Ashley
a lot to
and
talk
Ashley.
about. We have a lot going on here. But you were
Ashley
right, Ashley
Cooper.
Cooper.
Oh my gosh. Brought home the gold. Can I say brought home the gold? Or flew in the gold? So shout out to Ashley Cooper. We got more with her coming up, and I made a joke, and I hope I didn't offend him. Dr. Christopher DeMarco, I called him Tony Starks, because his pitch was so awesome, but it was just like, a Marvel comic, but I'm gonna let him, I don't wanna take away from what he was talking about, because it's very important. So I can't wait till Dr. DeMarco comes on and talk about it. But we got video? Or are we gonna come back to video? Let's come back to video. Let's hop over to
you know who's here.
That damn Coach Joe.
My favorite guy, all in Delaware. Well, you're also my favorite guy, but I'm excited to pass it to Joe. Coach Joe is in the house for the Blue Cone Minute. Joe, good morning.
Boy, I tell you, what a segue. I thought DJ Kiss was going to give me a nice spin on that. What's going on? I'm loving it. This is your boy, Coach Joe, with the Blue Coat Minute. We are back. I like that. Listen up, Ivan. I'm going to take more than a minute, so leave me alone. And Dennis, you better not cut me off. I'm going to see all of this. DJ Kiss, I'm excited about you, girl. I like it. You can have this one, DJ Kiss. Keep it spinning. You can keep that one. That's what I do, baby. Ivan was over there at the 5K at Claymont Community Center with the #1 mascot in the whole G League. Cody was there. And I'm telling you, shout out to Allison and you guys over at Claymont, my second home. And also, we was at tryouts. That's why Coach Joe couldn't be there. We had 3 successful tryouts for the Delaware Blue Coats, getting ready for the opening season. And it's November the 9th, Saturday, November the 9th. Put it on your calendar. You got to be there at Chase Fieldhouse. It's going to be phenomenal. That's our home opener. And guess what? Once again, we're back. Chase Fieldhouse. Everybody's welcome. It's free. It's complimentary to the whole community. It's Fan Fest. Fan Fest. Yo, go to, this is easiest website you ever go. Go to bluecoats.team. For all these things I'm talking about, we got open gym. Once again, for the kids, it's going to be twice a month once the season kicks off. Come on, parents, friends, neighbors, bring the kids out, ages 6 to 15, bring them out to Chase Fieldhouse. It's free, and we got some awesome groups and giveaways. It's going to be an amazing season this year. Community, Ivan, you know what DETV and the Blue Coats do better than anybody?
What's that, Joe?
We stay in the community. Yes, we did almost over 150 community events since the end of the season. And that's what we love more than anything. And just like DETV, Delaware Blue Coats, we keep it positive 100% of the time. So guess what? It's your boy, Coach Joe. We having a lot of fun. I'll see you at Chase Fieldhouse. Don't forget Fan Fest. Don't forget opening night, Saturday, November the 9th. And guess what? Guess what, Ivan?
What's that, bro?
We're going for another ring.
There you go. There you go. You had to show that ring off.
I pulled it out the safe. I pulled it out the safe. But I'm going to go right back to, hey, Vincenzo, can you show Ivan your gift I gave you today? Ivan wasn't here. He didn't get one. I always got to take care of my queen, sorry, my Ivan. Girl. Yes. It's your boy, Coach Joe. Yo, we'll see you again on the Blue Coats Minute.
Thank you.
All right, Joe.
And thank you for my windbreaker. I'm very excited.
You know what? And when you're not looking, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna put it on. You ever see like big guy in a little coat?
Just a little, like a shawl.
No, hey Joe. Season opens when? When does season start? Because if you don't, or if you're not aware of it, or if you've been living under a rock somewhere, DETV, we're broadcasting all the home games for the Blue Coats. When's the season start, Joe?
Saturday, November the 9th.
It'll be here before we know it.
That's 7 p.m.
That's the first home game?
First home game, home opener. It's going to be amazing. You got to come on out.
And it's such a beautiful atmosphere down there, Vincenzo. And if you haven't went, you have to go. I'm talking to you because I know you went. It's just an amazing event. Again, Wilmington looking great on the map out there. So shout out to Coach. Thank you so much, good brother. All right. And speaking of the Blue Coats and DETV, I had that when I was down at the Claymont Community Center. Cody showed up. Cody showed up and he ran. You got the videos then? He ran the 5K along with there you go. There go Cody. Cody and Allison. It was just an amazing time there at the Claymont Community Center. Don't worry about the camera work. All right. This couple was amazing. And everyone was partying. It was a party like no other before, man. It was great. Have you ever ran and Kaylin Pride was there.
Kaylin. Shout out to Kaylin.
Yeah, shout out to Kaylin. Have you ever done a 5K?
I guess I have.
Oh, my God.
Yes, I have. And I've attended many. And there you go. Ivan. Awesome.
Woo. Look, I get my little medal.
So proud of
you. There you go, right there. I'm not going to tell you that why you laughing, April? Why you laughing? I'm not even going to talk about it. I was tired after running it. I caught like a Charlie horse or something like that. Look, he wasn't even tired. Look, his brother was tired.
Cody was tired too.
It's okay. But no, shout out to the Claymont Community Center. Look, if you're in that area, look, a nonprofit doing wonderful things in the community, especially when it comes to seniors, kids, and programs. Please go to their website. I believe it's ClaymontCommunityCenter.org, I believe it is. And just donate, give what you can. Don't give till it hurts. Just give something, right? Because it's all about community. We love community.
Excellent.
Next thing. I heard someone had an anniversary.
Well, we're about to.
Okay.
We're about to. V&M Bistro is very proud and excited to celebrate 10 years. Can you believe it's 10 years of V&M Bistro?
10 years. Jeez.
10 years.
How's it feel?
So, it's an honor.
Good.
It's a privilege, and we are very blessed and thankful and grateful, all the above. For those of you who don't know, I'm the owner and operator of Vincenza and Margherita Bistro, short for V&M Bistro, in North Wilmington, Delaware, along with my sister. And we are very honored to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. If you're interested in attending, Ivan, Thursday, October 17th. It's actually a disco theme. Do you like disco music?
DJ Kiss, do we like disco? There we go. There we go.
Yeah, so Thursday, October 17th. For more information, just visit all of our social media platforms. We're promoting it. We're selling tickets. Yes, you have to purchase a ticket.
Okay.
Limited supply. Without a ticket, you can't get in. So we'll have disco music, food, giveaways. We'll dance the night away.
Okay. All right. Love it. Love it. Love it. I want to talk about these jerseys.
Yes,
Look,
tell us about these jerseys.
So these jerseys, we're having a fundraiser here for DETV, right? Mitchell and S jerseys. Dollar raffle.
Oh.
That's right, Joe. Dollar raffle, right? So we got Schultz.
Even this one?
Even this one.
Even this one?
Because there's some cowboy lovers out there, right? Even this one, right?
Even this one?
Emmett Smith, DJ Kiss is a cowboy fan.
Ivan's very brave.
Okay, but then we got to do this right here. It's all about this one, the Eagles, right? Randall Cunningham, boom, Pro Bowl jersey, can't miss it. Love it, love it. So we'll put the link in there in the bottom of the video of the social media post. And
some nice jerseys.
It's a dollar raffle, man. You can't beat it. And plus, it goes to a good cause, DETV. It helps us keep producing these shows that we give to the community.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back after this message. And when we come back, we're coming back with
Yvonne.
And she's like, can we say Superwoman?
Yes, we can.
We can say Superwoman?
Oh, yes, we can.
Yeah. Marvel, is that DC? DC Superwoman. So DC, we'll be right back
I love it.
with Superwoman. Yvonne Detweiler.
At every kind of disco, from that night I kissed our lovely vibe. Don't blame it on sunshine, don't blame it on the moonlight.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
Still searching for cheap gas prices? Dump the pump and ride DART. You can DART to your destination for only $4 all day. Let DART do the driving while you enjoy our free Wi-Fi available on all buses statewide. While scrolling through your favorite apps, don't forget to download DART's free transit app for real-time bus information and enjoy the convenience of contactless fare payment through DART Pass. So what are you waiting for? Dump the pump and try transit. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interests of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly. Federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
Good morning, Wilmington. I say good morning, Wilmington. Girl, when you dance, there's a magic that must be love.
Welcome to the DETV house party.
That's right.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Ivan, it's all about good vibes.
Oh my
right?
God, and we vibing.
We're vibing.
We're vibing with DJ Kiss on the amazing. How can we say it without just being correct? I don't want to be like female DJ. Just amazing DJ?
Yes,
just amazing DJ,
mean,
DJ Kiss.
Exactly, and she is doing what she does best, and
That's right.
she's making Good Morning Wilmington vibe. I mean, I love good sound, good music, dancing. It's truly uplifting. I mean, the show's already so positive and uplifting and inspiring, but now you add some music, And what a great way to start off introducing our very first guest of the season.
Who do we have?
Yvonne Detweiler will be the first to join us. She is the president of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, and we're so excited to have her on the plaza. Welcome, Yvonne.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks
I'm
for
excited. First show of the season. I'm honored.
We had to. We
honored.
We sat back and we just looked. It's like, yo, she's doing some amazing things down at the chamber.
Thank you.
So let's hop right on into it. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the amazing things, and then you have a women's amazing. What is it? A women's
conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, can I highlight the fact that Yvonne is the first woman to hold this title?
And the first Latina. That's
Latina.
right.
That's
Latina.
right. I mean, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this
you.
honor. I remember when this honor was announced,
right?
And it was huge for the community.
Yes.
But to know you and your family and everything that you've been doing for so many years, so deserving. And what better person than you?
Wow.
I mean, very excited. Very, very excited for you.
She's trying to get a free membership.
No free. No free.
No free. That's right.
No free.
We're coming to her ribbon cutting. She doesn't know it yet.
Okay.
I'm very proud to support the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce just because you.
Oh, thank you.
It's important. People know that. Very honored to know that a woman is leading. I mean, you went to the event.
The flavor is totally different.
You went to the
now.
event.
Yes.
We saw the event.
Yes.
Not just a couple of people. Hundreds.
Yes.
Maybe even the
We had
thousands
over
we're talking
600.
about. Right. So
attend that
truly
event.
truly inspiring. But anyway,
Thank you,
Yvonne,
Vincenzo.
tell us a little bit more about who you are for those of you who don't know,
Sure.
and a little bit more about the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, please.
Of course. Well, I'm Yvonne Detweiler. Do I look at a?
Look at us.
Look at you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Yvonne Detweiler, President and CEO of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. I'm a proud mom of 3 boys, married to a wonderful husband of 26 years, and I know it feels like yesterday.
In your pictures, it looked like yesterday. I don't think they age.
But yeah, so I am originally born and raised in Texas, and Delaware has become my home. And I am currently now leading this organization, the Newcastle County Chamber. I've been president and CEO now for 6 months, interim at the start of the year. But it's been exciting. It's been an exciting experience, as you mentioned. A lot to carry, being the first female president and also the first minority and Latina. Of the Newcastle County Chamber, but I got to tell you, it's been an amazing experience leading this organization, as the mission from the past of what the chamber has actually represented in our business community. But it's great and it's exciting to see, because now I get to learn and be engaged in the business community at a whole different level. And that's been an amazing experience for me, as like DJ Kiss, amazing. But it's been an amazing experience for me. And the chamber team that we currently have, I mean, we all just work together. We all divide and conquer. I have somebody at the Wilmington Port with the terminal expansion right now. And then I'm here, and then we have, of course, everybody that's just kind of leading in different directions. So it's been an amazing experience.
And now, how long have you held this position as the president for the Newcastle County Chamber?
Yes,
okay,
6 months officially.
Officially.
Yes,
And how long does the, I guess you would say, the responsibility last?
Well, I mean, hopefully it lasts longer than
Right.
It should last longer.
I feel like there's just so much more to be done. My focus when I started the chamber 5 years ago, I remember I was a stay-at-home mom, but prior to that, I've been in banking and I was in education. Decided to stay home with my children to spend some time with them as they were growing up, and once they were a little more independent, I decided to go back to work. And but being at the chamber at that time, all I really wanted to do, and I think you guys know that I just really wanted to make an impact. And how could I use my talent and my skills to make an impact in the business community, which includes nonprofits, corporate, mid-size, small business. So that's really always been my focus at the chamber, and I want to continue that mission.
Right.
Excellent.
Now, I want to ask this because we had an episode on Every Woman. And if you don't know, that's our women's network.
Yes, amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing show.
Thank you. And Yvonne was one of the, I don't want to say panelists, one of the women giving conversation, and was women in leadership.
Yes.
As a Latino, as a woman,
yes.
and as a Latino woman, has it been hard to maneuver through this space that predominantly used to be predominantly men and white men?
Yep. It has been, it has its challenges, but it also has its rewards, right? So as you continue to embark in some of these new opportunities, and you learn the community, and you learn the business community, and you get, kind of plugged in, the reward is that you're there.
Right.
You're at the table. You have a voice. You can share your perspective. You can share what it means to kind of make an impact, whether it's economic development, whether it's small business advocacy down in Dover. I mean, it's pretty. It could have. Trust me, it has its challenges. But it also has its rewards.
And the reason I asked you that, and it was leading into my next question, is what would you say to another young woman growing up, right? That's going to one day get into your shoes, someone fitting into your shoes. What advice would you give her?
Good question.
Wow. Well, I will say, embrace your younger self. That has always been something that I feel like if we could just embrace yourself, because you're your biggest advocate, right? And again, it's okay if you're challenged, and it's going to be okay. Trust me, you'll continue. It's just like a roller coaster ride. But I will say, embrace your younger self, and embrace as we mature as women. We tend to think about maybe some of the mistakes that we've done, or some of the opportunities. I wish I would have done that, or I wish I could have done that. But really embrace those moments, because those were all teaching moments for us, and that we wouldn't be where we are, we are today without those, risks and mistakes and
lessons.
Exactly.
Lessons.
Exactly.
And we learn from those lessons, and you're continuing to break barriers, Yvonne. So thank you for your continued efforts, and thank you for leading by example. But we need to talk about it, because that's why we're really here to feature our dynamic, accomplished winner and People's Choice winner. But before we introduce them a little bit later in the show, tell us a little bit more about, is it Swimming with the Sharks?
Swim with the Sharks.
Swim with the Sharks. Tell us, what is this? What is this event?
Well, the Swim with the Sharks pitch competition, it's our 12th year doing this. Wow. It's really allows small business or startups to do a pitch in front of an audience, and to gain we have judges that select on kind of the best pitch. It's kind of like you're going in and you're kind of doing the what's his name, Damon from actually Shark Tank, right? So it's kind of that
similar
same
to like
kind
a Shark
of feeling.
Tank experience. Okay.
But it's amazing. This year it was so incredible because we had a tough competition. Like it was tough choice. Even some of the finalists that made it and didn't quite make the cut. But I'm telling you, it was a great. I know the judges had a hard time making that decision of who the actual winner was. But I'm so excited because Ashley Cooper from Jerome University, she was just amazing. She knocked it out the park, and this wasn't her first her pitch. She did a pitch last year, and you know what? That's what I love. I love that she came back. She did it again,
persevered,
and won the competition. But again, I think this is probably one of our favorite events. Elise Bortolato, our vice president of the Emerging Enterprise, does an amazing job with this event. She does it since she's joined that, and it just continues to grow. And the energy and the vibe, we want to promote, we want to advocate for our entrepreneurial community. So it's pretty awesome.
It was great. It was great to see. This was my 4th year being a part of it, and you could just see the growth. And again, shout out to Alyssa. Alyssa really killed that.
She did.
Everything was great. And if you are, with my camera, boom, if you are a business person or someone starting out, you definitely need to go back, be a member to the chamber, and join the next pitch contest because it was one of the most, it was really, really good this year. And they were ready. They were ready. They answered every question from finance to the structure of the company. It was just great to see.
Yes.
And again, I want to say thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
And before I let you go, because I know you guys things to do, you're like, I'm just going to hop in for a minute. I'm like, you're going to get on camera. Another program that you're having coming up in November.
Yes.
Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Oh, our Women's Leadership Conference. I get so excited for that.
I see.
That's one of my favorites. That's one of our signature events that we do, and it's such a fun event. Our director of events, Danielle Morbido, does an amazing job with that. But I am so excited. It's November 21st. We have a key panel this year. We have quite a few amazing women that are just leading the way in each of their organizations. And then, of course, we have award winners. We have Jen Cohen that just won our Female of the Year award.
Yeah.
So we
She's
just announced
awesome.
that. Yeah, and so more to come because more announcements are coming. I'm so excited about our award winners this year.
When is this event?
November 21st, which is
November
the Thursday
21st.
before Thanksgiving.
And what
Mark
can-
your calendars.
That's
Yep.
right. And where can people, matter of fact, that's your camera right here. You can go ahead and pitch it. Go ahead and tell them about it.
So please go to NCCCC, that's 4Cs.com to register and look at all of our events that we're doing across the chamber and for our business community. You'll find some great stuff. And there's something for everybody, right? There's just, you have our policymakers that's happening with, we're doing a candidate forum with Democrat Matt Meyer and Republican Mike Ramone, and that's going to be a great one. We have our superintendent, our education reception, which is coming up. So there's always, amazing events that are happening.
So
at
you
the chamber.
you have to get on the mailing list,
Right.
and you have to definitely, if you're not on the mailing list, go to the website
You could
and
go to
check
the
out
website.
check out
Yes.
the event calendar
Correct.
for the month.
Correct.
Because
you
don't
sign
wanna,
up. Yeah.
you don't want to miss like what's going
You
on
don't.
at the chamber.
And I do have a good question that some of our viewers and listeners may be interested in.
Sure.
What if they're not a member? Can they attend these events?
Absolutely. So we
Okay.
do have a member. However, there's some benefits to being a member, right? You
Right.
get the member fee.
Right.
Non-member get the non-member fee, but really, it's just it's a member community that you want to be a part of. So if you're not a member, I do have to put that plug.
Yeah.
If you're not a member, please join and reach out to our director of membership, Jean
Okay.
Press. She's awesome as well.
Yeah, I love it. And again, just before you go, what are the benefits about being? Because a lot of people don't understand or know what the benefits are about being in the Newcastle Chamber.
Yep.
What benefits are they?
Well, I always tell members as soon as they join or they're thinking about joining, I always say that first year of membership is really learning the business landscape.
Right.
You have to learn the business landscape here in Newcastle County. And that's really what it's about, to kind of network. You want to be able to interact with people. And I think Mac McLeod at our Swim of the Shark said it best. You get to interact with people that you probably wouldn't be able to interact in Philadelphia or in DC. So having that access to business leaders and policymakers, and that's what the chamber can bring, and that's what it brings to our member community. So allowing people to interact with one another. Not only that, you create organic friendships from the membership. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Yvonne, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
joining
having
us.
me.
We really appreciate you
Yes.
joining us on Good Morning Wilmington as our official first
Yes.
guest.
That's right.
What a
Thank
great
you
way
for
to start
having
the
me.
season.
Yes, I'm honored.
You know me, I'm all about women empowerment.
Yes.
So we had to have the Yvonne Detweiler. So thank you so much again.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, Ivan, we have to take a quick commercial break because we have to talk to our winners.
And we need to pay the bills.
Yes.
Got to pay the bills.
Up next is Chris DeMarco and Ashley Cooper. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yay. Woo.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, Big Ive, talking to town, Mr. DETVCH.com. And as you know, September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I get it. I understand. And for me, that used to suffer with depression and even trying to commit suicide, I want to let you know that you're more than enough, that the world needs you, all right? No matter how you feel, I need you to call 988 or reach out to Delaware Health Equity Coalition and speak to someone, all right? You might be going through a lot and you might think the world doesn't even care about what you're going through, and that is a lie. we do care and we do need you. All right, your family needs you. So look, call 988 or visit our dear friends that really give a damn over the Delaware Health Equity Coalition. And when I see you in the street, just give me a hug. All right, that's it. You don't got to say anything, but we love you.
A new beginning, a second chance. Call it what you want, but this is what never giving up looks like. This is what finding someone who believes in you looks like. I thought Goodwill was just a store until a friend told me about Train to Gain through Goodwill's Job Resource Center. After 5 years away, I had a lot of self-doubt and fear about my future. But Goodwill had my back, and today, I love where I work. They matched me with an employer who believes in second chances. And now, I have a new start thanks to Goodwill.
To learn more about Goodwill's career development opportunities, call today.
You know the why for state-of-the-art.
DJ Kiss, you over there having a good time, DJ Kiss?
You already know it. I love the music.
Yeah.
My heart is so happy right now because we have a DJ on set and it's live and the music is just amazing, fantastic. DJ Kiss, thank you so much. All right, welcome back everyone to Good Morning Wilmington. We are very excited to introduce our next guest on the plaza. We have the founder and CEO of Sindri Materials, Chris DeMarco.
Doctor.
Oh.
Doctor. Let's not forget that. You worked hard for that one.
Yes, Dr. Chris DeMarco.
Chris is fine. Appreciate that.
He said Chris is fine. All right, and then next we have Ashley Cooper, the CEO and founder of Droneversity. Very excited to chat with the both of them. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you
And
very much.
congratulations to the both of you, our winner, Ashley Cooper, and our People's Choice winner, Chris DeMarco. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
You glowing over there, girl. You glowing.
I'm excited.
Without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about who you are, Ashley, and then we're going to jump to Chris because I want our viewers and listeners to see and hear who you are, and then we'll talk about the experience.
Well, in the drone industry, I'm known as the drone boss lady.
Oh,
yes. Yes, so I'm a FAA certified drone pilot.
Nice.
And I'm also the Delaware Drone Pro. And I am the proud founder and CEO of Droneversity.
Nice.
Amazing. Amazing. Chris.
So I'm from the area. I got my PhD at Columbia University where I studied the technology that Sindri Materials focuses on. And we developed this really interesting material called graphene. And one of my goals today is to demystify it.
Okay.
Right? No offense from the Tony Stark remark, but that told me I got to do a better job captivating a wider audience and graphene's some interesting things, and it's going to come into our everyday life.
All right, I'm excited to hear about that. Ash, all right.
Congratulations again.
Last year, yeah, congrats. Last year you came strong. This year came even stronger.
Yes.
Like, what did you do that was so different? And like, because I saw, growth, right, and everything, and I was like, damn, if I could have voted, I would have voted. Like, what?
Well, that means a lot. Thank you.
Droneversity, right? What exactly is it?
So we provide drone education and training, expert drone education, superior drone services. And I'm just going to speak to the point that you just made about the growth. Part of Droneversity's success has been us educating ourselves and staying in lockstep as the industry grows. So we're about pivoting, and that is a personal endeavor of myself. You know, how can I do better? It's not that many women, successful women entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of—
In that industry? Is there a lot in that industry?
So drones fall under aviation. So historically has been predominantly white male. You have less than 2% black women pilots. And even in other fields, you have lower numbers that are under 1%.
Okay.
So knowing that I'm charged with representing, trailblazing, and to get more women and girls in not only STEM fields, but aviation fields.
Wow.
I don't take that lightly.
Right.
No.
So I'm
Yeah.
coming.
And
I'm going to keep coming.
I know that's right.
And you're paving the way
Yeah.
for our future leaders and anybody that wants to pursue aviation or
Yes.
learning more about drones.
Yeah.
And again, very, very honored to have you on the plaza,
Thank
especially
you.
as a woman-owned business owner and someone who is the definition of perseverance.
Yeah.
You competed last year.
I did.
And did not win.
I did not.
But you persevered and said, I'm going to try it again.
Well, I did win. So I was runner-up.
You was runner-up.
That's
You was
still
runner-up.
winning.
You was runner-up.
Okay.
You was runner-up, yes.
Came, honestly, it was a little humbling experience because I go after everything to be first, right?
Right,
Who
right.
competes to not win?
Right.
But I actually joked with Chris from Trash Porters about some tips that I took from him. And that was reflected in the last pitch competition, straight to the point. So my background, I'm a molecular microbiologist.
Yeah, that killed the crowd right there. The crowd was like, okay.
So, you know, my science background is all about taking it slow, details,
Yeah.
you know, and kind of just expecting everybody to be on the same, have the same understanding.
Don't we do that? I think as entrepreneurs we do that, right?
Right.
We
A little
think
bit,
people,
just a little bit.
like,
Yes.
yeah, we think people understand everything, but like, nah, you gotta know.
So this was really just how can I present my mission, what we're doing in the most compelling way,
Yeah.
and people bought into it. They believe in it.
Yeah.
They're excited about it. We've been doing a lot of follow-ups with even individuals who reached out about investing in our business, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
Yeah,
Yes.
especially when people want to throw money your way.
Yes.
Shoot. Dr. DeMarco. All right.
Chris.
Yep.
You first, Chris?
Chris, Dr. DeMarco.
Dr. Chris DeMarco.
Okay.
Don't mess your brother name.
He's very proud. He's very proud.
Appreciate that.
Let's hear about your company. What exactly is your company?
So, Syngent Materials, we make this material called graphene. And whether you know it or not, you've encountered graphene in your life. So, graphene comes from graphite. So, it's in your
Right.
pencil. And it turns out if you zoom into graphite, it's made up of this layered structure, and a single layer is graphene. It's a single layer of carbon atoms.
Okay.
And the thing that's interesting about this material is that it's got these crazy properties. It's the strongest material in the world, 200 times stronger than steel, 100 times more electrically conductive than copper. It's got all these fantastic properties. The challenge is how do you manufacture it at scale without compromising its quality? That's what we do. And alongside, how do you navigate the market to identify high impact products? What do you make out of it early on that match that quality and scale that's going to have impact and traction and build a sustainable business? And that's what we're
I was
focused
going to
on.
ask you. Like,
That's quite interesting.
What can we use graphene for in our everyday life?
There's, you name it, right? That's not what we're going after, but think about if you develop polymers, plastics for the first time, or
Okay.
steel. It's a new material.
It's a new material.
So when engineers think about the applications, they've got a new data point on their graph of
Okay.
potential properties. It's properties that we've never seen before.
Right.
Okay.
So one cool visual is you could replace electronics with these graphene materials because
Okay.
they're very conductive, but they're so thin they're flexible.
Okay.
And you could create flexible electronics. So your phone, instead of being rigid, you could roll up into a ball.
Interesting.
Or Harry Potter, where they have those visuals on the newspaper, those moving screens, flexible displays.
Oh,
That's
damn.
the
Gotta be
reality
at
of
Harry
it,
Potter.
truly flexible displays. And that requires the highest quality graphene and other types of materials
Okay.
like this. You have to be able to manufacture it.
Chris, you mentioned something about sustainability. Can you touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, so in the sustainability world, there are applications with this material in batteries for the conductor. There are applications in carbon capture, right, in desalinization. It's all about can you produce it and control the quality to make these applications a reality. Because these applications have been proven on the laboratory scale, right? Scientists have said, hey, here's this interesting property response. Here's this interesting application in clean tech. But how do we get there in a practical way?
Right.
And it comes down to manufacturing at the end of the day.
Oh, wow.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And
Yeah.
again, we are learning. And
Yeah, we're
learning
learning.
a little bit more about Sindri materials, Droneversity, which I did not know about more depth. And I'm very excited that we were able to give you both a platform to tell and educate our viewers and listeners a little bit more about your businesses. But as the People's Choice Award winner, the people voted. So clearly they saw something
Right.
in your mission and your business, and I'm sure you're very grateful for that.
We're extremely grateful. Yeah,
Very, very.
you.
So how can our viewers and listeners maybe follow your journey, find out a little bit more about your organization?
Sign up.
Yes, sign up.
Do you have something new on the horizon?
Yes, well, we have classes coming up. Our new 2025 schedule will be out. So most people don't know you need a federal pilot license in order to fly drones for compensation.
Okay, very important information.
And what I pitched about was actually drone light shows.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to bring that to the East Coast, to Delaware, to Wilmington.
Wait, can we do a DETV
Look,
drone?
girl, I'm ahead of you.
Listen.
DETV
Yes.
drone light
The logo
show.
For New Year's Eve.
Yes,
For New
yes,
Year's
The
Eve.
yes,
logo
right
will be
outside.
displayed. We don't even have to wait till then. As my team,
Next
we're working
Monday.
on
Next
celebrating
Quiet,
the
girl,
election.
be quiet.
You all are going to get an exclusive behind the scenes.
Okay,
The
okay.
community is going to be
Yeah.
there, and whoever wants their logo displayed. So this is to banks
November 5th.
and yes,
Okay,
well, we
so-
can celebrate November 6th. We can do it that weekend.
We can just do it.
We can just do
Okay,
it because
all
it's
right.
historic, right?
I'm
We
with
need
it.
to
Okay.
celebrate this. We need to bring out the community, especially with so many elected officials
Yeah.
who have a platform that is based on eco-friendliness, sustainability, to Chris's point. So drone light shows are an eco-friendly alternative. So reach out to us at info@droneversity.org.
And a good way to advertise. And,
Oh, great.
let's
Yes,
not
that's
forget
what
about
that's
that.
what I
Let's
was
Promotion. Yeah.
Yes, marketing.
Your QR code
Yeah.
to get everyone
Right up there in
signed
front of
right
everybody.
up there
So everyone
in
can
front of
scan with their phones?
Yes, so you have
Genius.
You
over
better
100 to
Genius.
1,000 drones elevating in the sky to display whatever you would like. I mean,
Right.
we could display Ivan's face. Am I getting you excited here?
You have-
And your
Yeah.
restaurant. Congratulations
Write
on
the
celebrating
check.
10
Write the
years.
check. Write the check.
Yes.
We need to talk after the show.
Oh, damn.
Zero,
darn it.
zero.
Promoting
Yes.
businesses.
And as well as I'm an entrepreneur, my give back is even to figure out how we can use those drone light shows to promote what other individuals are doing.
And that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Let me ask you, and this question is for both of you, but I'm going to make sure you answer that question, her question too. So with the Sharks, what did you think about that contest?
So hats off to the chamber, to the marketing team.
Crazy, right?
It was definitely an amazing elevation. And not only is it the benefit of winning the money, so I actually have an office at the chamber.
Okay.
So my prize is even grander.
Yeah.
As a result, and in the marketing package that they are offering.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I'm like is so invaluable is just the connections we were being able to make, which enlarged our market visibility.
Yeah.
You know, that as a small business owner who may not have that large budget for that, the chamber has been so resourceful with workshops and so much more. Shout out to Emerging Enterprise Center and all of that they do, and the small business division. I have Delaware, because I am an Edge Grant winner as well, which I think is a good segue to Chris, because he's also an Edge Grant winner.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We were awarded last fall. It's
That's
a fantastic
congrats.
program.
Congratulations.
So yeah, I mean, to echo what Ashley said, you hit all the major points, but you know, the competition was fantastic. I mean, we've been in the Delaware ecosystem for the last year. And we couldn't be happier. You know, we searched up and down the Northeast corridor for a suitable area that was invested in technology like ours, and we're residents at the Delaware Innovation Space, and it's been a fantastic home. And every opportunity we've had through the Emerging Enterprise with the Sharks, or even the Delaware Edge Grant, or all the various events have been incredible. The community is supportive, they're proactive, they're kind, they're there, and they're, you know, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
and
really great.
I also want to say shout out to the sponsors. I know Newcastle County has definitely, Office of Matt Meyer has definitely supported the small businesses in Delaware, just like he supported DETV. So I want to definitely, and CJ Bell, Economic Development, those guys over there are killing it.
Amazing.
Yeah, and because when you're both of you are talking, all I'm thinking about is, and this question's for everyone, is Delaware the place to start small business?
Yes.
So I'm going to share a quick story, and I'm going to make it quick. So
Yes.
shout out to Mac Malloy with Carver Ties.
Yeah.
And he
McLeod.
McLeod.
Yeah.
Excuse me. with Carver Ties, and he mentioned the accessibility.
Yeah.
So literally the next morning, I'm walking out to put my trash. Who do I run into but Matt Myers? He's in his electric vehicle. He's preparing for something, but he rolls down the window, and I have a chance to just say hi to him and say thank you, and say look out for my email.
Right,
it's
coming.
And you don't get that.
Nope.
In any other state. And I can't tell you the numbers of calls. Keep doing this. Word of mouth is big.
Right.
So being able to get emails and calls, like when someone thinks or says drones, Droneversity comes up. We're super excited. We're going to have a table at Delaware State University homecoming to talk about our collaboration with the university and what's all going to be coming. October 5th.
No.
So, the part that I can share is we are actually working with their agriculture department.
Okay.
So we're using drones to help assist with smart farming. So drones
Just stop.
Okay.
Just stop.
Okay.
You don't want to tell no. I don't want to leak no more. But congratulations.
Thank you.
How about you, Chris? What are you working on? What you guys working on over there?
Right now, so the best way to think about our first product line is the accelerating the way we develop drugs, vaccines, and therapeutics. So the best way to visualize is think about COVID spike protein structure, right? Someone needs to take a picture of that.
Right.
And there's a new microscope that has really revolutionized how these structures are seen. And it's important to see them so you can understand how they respond to drugs and vaccines and whatnot. But there's a big bottleneck in how they hold the proteins. Take a picture. Like a toddler for a picture day, right? We're developing a device using our technology to secure these proteins and these molecules to accelerate drug and vaccine development, right? It's very niche, but it has wide scope and implications when it comes to healthcare, drugs, vaccines, therapeutics. That's our first product line.
Wow.
I think I want to invest in both of it. I want drones and graphite. What is it?
Graphene, but it's from graphite, so you're not wrong to think of it as graphite.
Okay.
Wow, so fascinating, and I've learned so much just by interviewing you this brief time on our show, because what you're doing for the future and what you're doing for the community, and I love that you're pouring into the Delaware community, and you're here in Delaware making a stamp and you're paving the way for our future leaders, and exactly for what you're doing as well, Chris, and it's really inspiring, but learning so much just by speaking with you in this short conversation. So is there anything else that you would love to share with our audience and viewers that are tuning in that we haven't touched on yet? Any upcoming events? I know we touched a little bit, Ashley. Anything that is there a need? Chris?
And that's for you too, Ash. Is there a need?
So I think the biggest thing for the public and the viewers is to keep learning about graphene. We've got a website, synjamaterials.com. You can reach out, connect with us. You can access me through LinkedIn and just learn. If you have questions, if you have an interesting idea and you're interested in collaborating, or any potential investors who are viewing want to learn more, my door is always open.
Right.
And I'll expand that even further because our technology is pretty deep. We believe in the community and any aspiring entrepreneurs, even if they're adjacent. That's my favorite part of these pitch competitions is finding other people that are on that founder's journey, because it's a treacherous one.
Right.
And the support is invaluable, especially with folks from different industries. Reach out, connect. Right? Learn, lean on each other, especially in Delaware. Right?
Excellent. Excellent. Yes,
I'm going to
Ashley.
say, if you want to elevate your education, take one of our online or in-person courses to become a drone pilot, to learn about maybe how you can use that as a tool and something that you're currently already doing. If you want to elevate your business and promote it, public, private events, weddings, definitely reach out to us about our drone light shows. We're going to be super excited to customize some 2D, 3D art design for you, and even work alongside you for some sponsorship to make sure that it's affordable for you. And if you want to just know in general more about how drones are being used worldwide, purchase my children's book called Drones Everywhere. Yes, English or Spanish. We're on Amazon. And if you want a signed copy, meet me at Delaware State University Homecoming.
I love
there you
it.
go.
I
Again,
freaking love it.
Thank you so much to the both of you, and congratulations, Ashley. Congratulations, Chris. We wish you the best of luck. Dr. Chris. Sorry, I'm sorry. And please don't forget about us here. As you continue to pursue your dreams and goals and achieving what you're doing.
And
don't forget
changing the
about
world?
yes, and changing the world.
Damn,
don't
y'all
forget
changing the
about us
world.
here. Thank you again for joining us.
I'm sorry, do y'all see it like that? You're like, y'all really changing the world.
Impact.
Baby steps.
I love it.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you both for the opportunity.
Oh,
You got
of course,
it.
of
We'll
course.
we'll be right back after this message, and then we're coming back with who?
Oh, we're coming back with Dennis Carradine, the CEO and founder of the Trauma Survivors Foundation, here to talk about all the amazing things he's doing in the community, but also his upcoming big event, which maybe you can attend, Ivan.
I'll be there.
I know. All right. Well, can we get DJ Kiss to
take us out?
Segue into a commercial?
Hey, I'm DJ Kiss, and we'll be right back with more.
Back on the scene with a sucker full of cream. Back on the scene with a sucker full of cream.
I'm going in, yeah. Okay, it's 08, young Wayne just back on the scene.
How did DETV start and how did you get here?
DETV started approximately 10 years ago in the basement of my home. I had an idea to show people of color doing great things, but what happened was I got to the point that I said, I'm gonna just show people all together doing great things. The motto and the moral was to bring people together instead of using media to rip people apart. And doing that, you know, I just did a lot of hard work, a lot of free stuff, a lot of things of just showing people being themselves. I figured that media, and I saw that media wasn't doing that, so I just decided to give it a shot, not knowing that it would bring me to where I am today. I had a great journey doing it, met some amazing people, did some amazing things, worked on some amazing projects, you know, and with just a lot of hard work and a bunch of sacrifice, I'm here today. I done worked on everyone's campaign in the state of Delaware, and now, you know, I'm just doing what I do and doing it with friends. My biggest accomplishment right now would have to be this, hands down, without a doubt. We want to make sure that we inform the community wholeheartedly. So again, they can have all the information that they need. For more information, you can find us at detvch.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook under DETV. Be sure to check us out. Tell me what you think.
Good morning, Wilmington. I say good morning, Wilmington.
I love this music.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. DJ Kiss, thank you so much for just elevating the energy in the room. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today on Good Morning Wilmington, and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. And we have our last guest on the plaza, Dennis Carradine, the president and CEO of the Trauma Survivors Foundation. He is here to talk about the Delaware Beer Fest.
Oh, wow.
So don't go anywhere because we have to talk about this. Dennis, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. The energy in here is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I was saying my tiny human would be dancing if she was here. She's pretty awesome.
Oh, Dennis, and welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Because you're no
you.
stranger to Good Morning Wilmington.
Absolutely.
And we were very, very excited to have you back on the show. For those of you who don't know, we love bringing guests back and we love getting updates. So don't think one and done. We love to have all of our community leaders back on the show because we like to give updates on what's happening.
Absolutely.
So for those who don't know a little bit about you, let's share with our viewers and listeners about who is Dennis Carradine.
I am the head bottle and cork washer of everything. You know, master of none. You know, type of thing. No, I'm the CEO of the Trauma Survivors Foundation. We've been around since 2013. We've been around ever since the Sandy Hook massacre, where I started the foundation to support folks in traumatic situations with mental health counseling. As of to date, right now, we are in 41 different states.
Wow.
I guess support 2,800 trauma therapists. We have trained 4,000 first responders in crisis intervention. And so we give that 5-session model to folks that need traumatic care after events. We actually right now have boots on the ground in Asheville, North Carolina, following Hurricane Helene. I am not down there, obviously. My voice is a little blown from this weekend. We hosted the Delaware Taco Fest down here in Wilmington. 6,000 taco eaters and 4,200 porta potties. So that was
Hand in hand.
We also hosted the Philadelphia Beer Fest at the 23rd Street Armory. So we do events which, people always ask us, like, you do these big major events. We do the Wilmington Street Food Festival, the All-Star Craft Beer and Wine Festival at Citizens Bank. And they say, well, how does this mix? You're doing this intense stuff, but at the same time, you're having this fun. I mean, if you had gone down, we had the DJ go in and you have 6,000 people enjoying. But you have to think about it, that type of stuff, celebration is biblical, right? You go back and you look at people in times of trauma, they dance, they sing, they have joyous memories to say that we're going to survive and we're going to get through things. So we always tell folks, we don't have survivors, we have thrivers. We want people to come out of these situations really well.
I love it.
Yes, Dennis, Ivan and I talk about the importance of mental health all the time, especially at DETV and on Good Morning Wilmington. We've always continued to have that conversation and the importance of having that conversation. And what you're doing for the community, especially with the Trauma Survivors Foundation, also with Hospital Heroes. You've done some impactful work, significant work through the pandemic, and that's how we met through the pandemic. But let's talk more about the Delaware Beer Fest, because I know that is big.
I heard people wait. I think it was about maybe a month ago, and they were saying that they can't wait for it. That is it's one of the best beer fests they've ever been to.
That's amazing to hear. Well, it's funny. This is now our 7th year, and we've had it up at the Figure 8 barn up at the Bellevue State Park. And so we got the opportunity to move it down to Frawley Stadium. Now I'm a Wilmingtonian. I was born and bred here. I go Vikings, sing whatever. But it was such a nice thing to have the ability to have it at Frawley Stadium. When I was growing up, I remember neighbors hosting some of the players at the Blue Rocks, and it was just kind of cool to bring it all full circle. And I am completely about family and legacy, as I say, my tiny human, that dances to this, and my two children that help out. The funny part, we have this on Saturday, and my son, who's normally my rock star, will come down and help us out. He is actually going to be at the Submersion Festival that we're hosting in Hamilton, New Jersey.
Did you plan it?
No, we don't plan anything. We don't know. It's just, people just go, Dennis, do you want to? Yes. Let's go. So we have it down at the Blue Rock Stadium. It's going to start at 11 a.m. We have our friends from Mary Can that does Bloody Marys in a can, the RTDs. So when you're walking in, you're already getting a Bloody Mary to start the day. You're also going to get some concoction I'm going to make. We're not sure what that is yet.
My gosh.
But you're already walking into music. You're walking into fun. We have 2 sports legends that are going to be at the Delaware Beer Fest. We have Trey Thomas, 3-time Pro Bowler from the Philadelphia Eagles that are going to be there. Joe Watson, he's 2-time Stanley Cup champ from the Philadelphia Flyers, is going to be there. We have Olivia Rubini from The Voice.
She's awesome.
She's going to be singing the national anthem. We have Delaware own Red Smith's going to be there. We have Jeff and Eddie that's going to play everybody in. That's just music. That's just music. Everybody in there gets a chance. We have right now, I think it's $70,000 worth of vacation, Caribbean vacation packages that all of our guests are going to have a chance to win. So you're going to come in and you're just going to see this atmosphere. Now there's that. Now it's called the Delaware.
But there's more.
But wait, there's more. You have to kind of look at what a beer fest is. Most people come in and you try the beer, right? We're not just that, and I always love that. Our main sponsor is Tito's Handmade Vodka, and so you're getting this Podzilla, what they call the Podzilla, which is ridiculous. Podzilla. It's going to be in center field, and it's like a huge tiki party bar and all that. That's next to meat on a stick, next to axe throwing, next to Swedesboro's Beer Garden. It's going to be this party atmosphere that we like to host.
Right.
We have 75 plus breweries, distilleries, wineries, cideries, and all that there. So it's not just beer. The Beer Fest started on a bet. So somebody 8 years ago told me, hey, you can host a successful beer fest in Delaware. And I went, watch me. You watch it. And then I bought the domain for $2 and went, oh dear God, we might not be able to do this. But we've 7 years now, and it's absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
The money funds the foundation, so the proceeds go to the Trauma Survivors Foundation. Every year we've had to go to the Hospital Heroes since the pandemic. To date, we have delivered close to 200,000 meals to 126 different locations throughout all that, especially for our Delaware folks. We know who we go to.
And that's
we
tremendous.
love supporting it. Yeah.
That's tremendous, Dennis, and I do appreciate that you continue to promote Hospital Heroes, because I know that even though the pandemic is behind us, we are in still need of supporting our first responders and the nurses and the doctors that are continuing to be and showing that support. You've always been an advocate for all of our first responders and the medical workers. So thank you so much for doing what you do, and we admire that. We've had the opportunity at V&M Bistro to partner with Hospital Heroes and Dennis to help feed our first responders in the community and the medical workers in the community, and it's been a true honor to partner with you, and we continue to do so even years after the pandemic.
Absolutely, you know, it's one of the go-tos that I love. I never say we don't have we have friendships and partnerships. We don't have like business relationships. I'd rather have a friendship with one of our restaurants or so forth. The other thing we support, we actually have, and a little shout out to V&M Bistro because we're here.
Oh, thank you.
They have our latest concoction, which is Beyond the Call.
Oh, yes.
My fourth book came out. I published my fourth book, Beyond the Call, for our first responders. Thank you. That was. Oh my, it's like having a child. It's kind of wild, but we developed, Bellefonte Brewery and I developed a hoppy Pilsner called Beyond the Call, where proceeds from the sale, no matter where it is, goes to the Hospital Heroes and the Trauma Survivors Foundation. And V&M Bistro graciously has it. We have to tell people what it is, but when they try it, it's amazing. We also do Wagon House Winery. We have the Captain's Punch over there, our wine that we sell. We just had it at Taco Fest. Sells out every festival we go to. It's an amazing wine, but it's also it's for a great purpose.
Right, drinking for a good cause. Right, Ivan.
You tip a glass. Tip a glass.
Drinking for a good cause. Count us in. Sign us out.
Sign us up.
You said Captain's Punch, and he was like, "Ooh."
Close the wrong punch.
Well, let's go back to the Delaware Beer Fest because it sounds like it's going to be a tremendous event. Blue Rock Stadium. Farley Stadium, right?
How many people are you expecting?
Anywhere between 10 and like 4 million. It's one of those.
That's it? That's nothing. No.
It's one of those things where you just like, I think with any festival, you get that initial, hey, we got 1,000 tickets sold or whatever it is. But then the day of, everybody goes, hey man, you know that festival we have? Boom. And then you see the ticket goes up. We would like to see, 2,500, 3,000 people there. So truthfully, coming down to experience things. And as a little added bonus to your listeners out there, if they use the promo code Home Run.
Hold on, there you go.
Right there. Home Run at DelawareBeerFest.com. Again, DelawareBeerFest.com. Use promo code Home Run. We're going to get you some money off the tickets, whether they're general admission, VIP, or ultra VIP. Everybody gets a little something there. You're going to have an amazing time.
This is great.
What the heck is ultra VIP?
Ultra, that's basically I walk you around and just pour your beer the entire time. You can go to our website. They actually have the ultra VIP folks. We don't have many of them, but you get up into the Diamond Club. You're going to have poured drinks, mixed cocktails. You're going to elevate that
This is a full experience.
This is it.
This is a full experience at a baseball stadium, which is located at the riverfront in Wilmington, Delaware. And I think it's a great venue for your event. I think it's a great venue. When you shared it with me, I said, we have to have you on the show. We have to share this with the community. Yes, Ivan needs the VIP experience, Dennis.
you heard Captain's Punch. You
I'm there. We'll be there. Again, throw that flyer up real quick, Dennis. Again, it is, what date is it?
October 5th.
October 5th, 2024 at Frawley Stadium. You do not want to miss this amazing event. And they can buy tickets online.
Online, DelawareBeerFest.com.
All right.
Excellent. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with the event.
Thank you.
And don't forget us, which you don't.
No,
We
you
love
never
you for
do.
it.
Never do.
All right, speaking of home runs, I think today's show was a home run. I really do. I think we knocked it out of the park.
Out the park, baby.
The first episode back. It is an honor to be by your side.
And same here. Same
I'm
here.
so proud of you.
I'm so proud of
you.
you. Shoot. We have a great year coming up with some amazing people that you're going to meet. Just like you just met this amazing capeless superhero.
Yes, capeless superheroes, and I'm going to give a shout out to all of them. Ready?
Yeah.
Dennis Carradine, Trauma Survivors Foundation, promoting the Delaware Beer Festival. We have Yvonne Detweiler, the CEO and founder of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. Then we have Ashley Cooper, CEO and founder of Droneversity, and Dr. Chris DeMarco, CEO and founder of Sindri Materials. How about that for first episode back? Didn't even need to look at the notes.
No, and special shout out to DJ Kiss for making this her first appearance, her premiere appearance here. And then you can catch her on Thursday nights also here at DETV on our Every Woman Network. So if you're a woman and you need some inspiration, motivation, and some just to sit around other amazing women,
and to
come.
Tune in for a good conversation.
Yeah.
And I hear it's a beautiful experience.
And it's women only.
Yes.
No men.
No, not even you?
No, I'm in the back somewhere.
Making sure
everything's
making sure everything's moving and shaking. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to our sponsors. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are everywhere. Go to @DETV or @Good Morning Wilmington, and then follow our social media pages. Tag us, like us, share. If you're interested in being on the show, visit DETVCH.com.
That's right.
And you never know, we might be able to feature you in your business.
Or show up at your business. How about that one?
Oh, I like
we,
that.
We're doing something different this year.
Yeah, I like it.
Different. DJ Kiss, take us out.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Her Perspective on DETV's Every Woman channel. I'm your host, Sharice Brewington-Carr, and in today's episode, we'll be talking about issues that are on the minds of many Delaware women during this election cycle and asking the question, what's on the ballot for women? Joining me today, we have an incredible panel of women for the first half of this episode. Please join me in welcoming Joan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joan Coker. I am the proud immediate past president of the Lynx Wilmington chapter of the Lynx Incorporated, and I'm also an otolaryngologist, head and neck surgeon.
Thank you.
Great.
Maria.
And I am Maria Martinez, and I am an advocate for the Hispanic community in Delaware.
Wonderful. Fran?
And I'm Dr. Fran Franklin from Delaware State University. I'm the interim chairperson for the social work department, and I'm a mental health therapist for 30 years.
Thank you. Melanie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Ross-Levin. I'm the director of the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy, which is a statewide office dedicated to women and girls.
Thank you, ladies, for joining me. I serve as the vice chair for the Delaware Commission for Women. And the Commission for Women, if folks don't know, is an entity that is an advocacy organization on behalf of every woman in the state of Delaware. And so we're looking to understand from Delaware women about what's on your mind, what's important, what legislation matters to you. You know, what are the issues that are pertinent to you, and how can we improve the quality of life of women here in the state of Delaware? So clearly, health as well. And so we're going to start with that topic and thinking about what are we going to talk about as it relates to health. So, Joan, what are you thinking?
What I'm thinking is what's on the minds of all women. Our reproductive rights are in a chokehold in this country. And as I talk with my colleagues around the nation, we know what to do when there's an emergency. We've been trained to do it. But when you have to think about the idea that you may serve time for doing what you were trained to do to save the life of an unborn child, that mother that's struggling, talking about the husband and what he may be going through, it's outrageous, unacceptable. And so where I am in this journey is we must collectively be the voice for women for change in this country. Unacceptable.
Our bodies, our minds, right?
Got it.
Ladies, what are you thinking?
I agree. I mean, that is really top of mind, I think, right now. I mean, we're seeing what is happening in other states. Delaware has good policies. We've codified Roe in our Constitution, but a lot of other states we might be traveling to pregnant.
That's right.
And we could be in a state that has bad policies, and there's a whole bunch that do. And what does that mean for your health, the health of a loved one? And it's really scary. And I think the bottom line is we should trust women, we should trust doctors. And we know that when reproductive rights is not the law of the land, people with means have the option. People who don't have means do not have the option.
That's right.
And that's not fair for anyone.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Maria?
I am hearing it from the Hispanic community as well. They're afraid with the selection and everything that's coming up. They're afraid of deportation. They're afraid that they cannot go to the doctor and tell them what's going on. There's a lot of women that are suffering language barriers, disparities in the health. A lot of them are starting to flee. I know of a family personally that's fleeing Florida because of it. And it's very, very, it tears the family apart. That's right. And that's the core of who we are as women, right? That's right. And when this is happening, I just feel like this is very scary for us. And it's almost new territory. Why are we going back? Why are we going back 50 years?
Yeah.
Correct. We should be moving forward.
You got it.
So when I hear you talk about health, we cannot separate mental health. I hear you talking about tearing the family apart and how that impacts the woman and her feelings and what she's thinking. And I think about an ectopic pregnancy.
Correct.
And how I may die because I can't get treatment. Correct. And how that impacts my level of depression, my level of anxiety. And I also, mental health is a big thing for me, near and dear to my heart. And you mentioned the whole concept of criminalization, excuse me. But I thought about the young lady, and I can't remember where it was, I want to say in Florida, when the police officer came in her house, and she may have had a mental health issue, but she ended up dying.
Correct.
Because he misinterpreted where she was coming from.
Right.
And as a woman, I don't want to have that fear.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's just amazing. You're right about that. So, as we're talking about mental health and those kind of concerns and et cetera, and, when you look at what's happening in the political landscape in and of itself, it just appears to me, I don't know, it just seems like politics have gotten even meaner and less civil and et cetera. And my concern is that will people opt out of this process in terms of voting and the importance of it just because it's just ridiculous when you hear what's happening in some instances between candidates nationally and locally. What do you guys think about the climate that we're in?
I think the young people give us hope. When you talk with them, although they may have quiet discussions on their phone among millions, they may not verbalize it to you, but you can see that there is a new energy that they have embraced because the last thing they want is to be told what to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me what to do. So my faith, my hope, my encouragement for this country
is in the hands of these young people. The other thing that bothers me is this is a very personal issue. And that's what I told a gentleman when Senator Coons was kind enough to invite me to the State of the Union address. And the guy introduced the person that he had invited as the head of, women's rights and lack of women's rights down in New Orleans. And I said, tell me why you think it's your business. Tell me why on any level it should ever be your business unless it's your wife, your daughter, your children. It's not your business. And he said, we're just trying to save lives. I said, as are we.
Yeah.
I said, but look where we are, because you're asking somebody to take something very personal and talk to a board about it, talk to a group of men that may have nothing to do with anything. You have a hard time talking to your pastor about what you're going through, your husband, your mother.
Yeah.
And you want me to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I just watching, and I just have to say, however, again, we've got some folks here who are representing nonpartisan organizations, et cetera, and what have you. However, I'm exceedingly proud that we have a woman a candidate for president of this United States. However you choose to vote.
Yeah.
And so one of the things, and we all know that women do it differently, okay? So one of the things that I noticed is that as we looked at the various conventions, Dem, Republican, Independent, what have you, that the humanity and the stories that women were telling about their health matters. The young girls who talked about being victimized, at an early age and suffering pregnancies and what have you, and having to consider what to do, the courage, just what you talked about, that it took for her to be able, and she's done that a few times now, and for other women who might not be able to do that. So Fran, talk about, thinking about that and how she was speaking, the impact and how people hold things and don't talk about it from an emotional perspective.
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking about the encouraging words you gave, because we do look at our youth, but the reality is we count too, even as older people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
wait a minute now, older people?
I'm sorry. I meant the younger side here, okay? All right. I have to rephrase that a little bit.
More experience.
More experience. There you go. Thank you. You're right. So fun. But when I think about mental health and holding stuff down, it is important that we vote. Legislation makes a difference. We have got to vote.
Yes.
And the reason why we have to do that, they control the funding. They control the money. I think about little girls in school. We should start educating them in kindergarten, in the first grade and second grade. We don't have to wait until they're whatever in the 10th grade and they're angry or they're pregnant or whatever, anxious, stressed. We need to start earlier. But that money and the funding is controlled by our legislators. Sure. And we have to start voting down and voting up. It's not just we're voting for the president, which I think is so important, but our local legislators control funding and money too. And one of the biggest issues I see is inconsistent initiatives. Yeah. We start off a nice initiative. Yep. Oh yeah, I'm getting mental health treatment for about 6 months, maybe a year or two. And then it goes away. Yeah. What happens? Yeah. They're even worse off than they were before. That's right. And it impacts all of us. Not just, I think about the criminal justice system and the services that they are often denied. I think about what's happening in the nursing homes and people taking advantage of them. They have feelings too. At every stage. At every stage of life. And it's important that we vote up and vote down.
Absolutely. Very, very important. Let me just say this, is that part of the dream and the vision for this dialogue too is that the primaries are done now. We know that, voters have made some decisions, and we're going to have individuals that are going to be petitioning and asking for our vote in general elections coming up. As you say, vote up, vote down, and et cetera. So really important, and so grateful that you all are here to talk about these issues, because I'm hoping that these individuals who are seeking our vote are actually listening, and that they will be listening to what we're saying, because that's important. Because guess what? Women are voting individuals into office or out of office. Is that right, ladies?
Correct.
So, correct.
Well, yes, definitely. You were starting to say something, Melanie? Yeah, I think, I have 2 daughters, and I think one of the sad things is in 4th grade, there's always a assignment to memorize the president. And you have a chart, and it becomes so vivid that, there's no woman on the chart. And it's really hard to be what you can't see.
Yes.
If you never see,
Representation matters.
If you never see a woman surgeon, if you never see a woman president, it's hard to even imagine becoming that at some point.
Yeah.
And so I think, although we've had, different layers of the glass ceiling have been broken, especially locally, and we've done much better here in Delaware more recently, we're still around 30% in the Delaware legislature.
Yeah.
We're not close to 50. And so we still have a ways to go. And I think, we have the general election November 5th, but it's important to vote in every election, not just the general
School
election.
board, everything.
It's actually really common. Very few people make a huge impact just because they're regular voters. And so you really want to make that the norm, that you have to vote regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being informed, and again, as we're discussing these issues and what have you, is it on the hearts and minds of those persons who are asking for our vote? What are you thinking about that, Maria, in terms of the Hispanic community? It's been a lot. Just today, just this morning, I was listening to the news, and Ana Navarro, who I love, who was talking a lot about how she's going across the country and speaking to the Hispanic community. And it's just like any other group of individuals. She said the Latina community is not a monolith. There are different thoughts, different perspectives, and et cetera. And people are talking about the Hispanic community and not talking to this Hispanic community. So Maria,
Again,
What do you
the
think?
language barrier. We don't have enough representation. And that's the problem. There's too much fear in my community. And I'm going to address it as it is. It's my community.
That's right.
And we were never raised to go out and vote. We were never raised to get into politics. We were never raised to go out and talk to people. And that's the issue that we're having. I have people that come to me and tell me all the time, I'm not being heard. This doctor, I need a new doctor. I don't agree with the politics, but they don't do anything because they just don't have that representation for them. They don't have that person. We don't have that person to go out there and say, come on out, let's make a difference. There's too much fear. We have too many people in Delaware alone that are not even here legally. They can't even go to a doctor without fear of
Losing everything.
losing everything, of their families being split apart. So this is a big issue. This is something that's bigger, I believe, than us. But I believe that we as women, and as with a woman president, I think we're going to make
a better chance, right?
beautiful change. We are mothers.
That's right.
And we know how to run our house.
That's right.
The step
How to run our house.
Well, I just want to say, I'm so grateful that you agreed to be here and to share that, because it's going to take every sister, however she shows up, in the state of Delaware, to make sure that we understand those issues and that we're advocating for those issues and that we're working together, all of us together in and of itself. I wanted to go to a piece of legislation, or at least an effort in the state of Delaware. I don't know about many of you, or maybe our listening audience as well, but you hear about the lack of OBGYN doctors and the closing of offices and what have you. Delaware doesn't have a medical school. All right, doctor. Let's talk about it, because I know that there's a movement afoot and some discussions between our health providers, major institutions here in the state around that. What do you think about that?
I think it's a tragedy. I don't understand why folks can't see what's happening. You know what I mean? I'm on the board at the University of Delaware. I've had this conversation out loud. I don't mince words ever, right? So I'm telling you what's happening. Tell me why the only one that seems to see the problem, fix it, is a woman president. Can we talk about Wilma Yu? Can we talk about Dr. Harmon? You see the problem and you fix it. So I know we have a cooperative agreement with Jefferson, But those folks that go to Philly, they're not coming back to Delaware. So we've got to get started here. There's a problem. We have a shortage of anesthesiologists. We can't operate.
That's right.
Okay? I mean, you're making a whole case done, and you may have a nurse anesthetist the entire time. Now, mind you, they're amazing. Let me be abundantly clear on that. But every now and then, you want that physician in the room. Hello, things go left quickly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's mind-boggling to me why you can see a problem but not fix it. So here's my new dialogue. My dialogue is to these young people, to women. Not only do we need to vote, but we need to run. Not only do we need to vote, we need to run.
Yes.
No, 80%, 20%, 70%, 60%. First of all, let's get some term limits. Senate, Congress, Lord knows the Supreme Court.
Absolutely.
That's right. Where they can see themselves. But if you got to wait till somebody's 89 and dies out of office, what you doing? You're not doing that.
And tell us exactly how you feel, doctor. I know. I know. I hear exactly what you said, and that is so important. Which brings me to also, just for full transparency, I'm also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Zeta Omega chapter, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, and the Wilmington, Delaware chapter of Links Incorporated. And these are issues that these nonpartisan organizations are constantly advocating for and thinking about. But in general, I don't know that the general public is aware that the reason we don't have a medical school is because no one's having those conversations. And so, for those people who want our vote and elected, what are you going to do about it? That's right. What are you going to do about it to move that? Melanie, I know that recently the Office of Women's Advocacy and Advancement, hot off the presses, just released a report on the state of women. There it is. And so I want you to talk a little bit about the data points. And I was reading some things that was pretty disturbing, but if you could talk a bit about what you've seen as it relates to health, what showed up?
So the shortages are clear in the report. It's pretty devastating, especially downstate. There are a lot of challenges downstate with access. I mean, we have good policies, but if people can't get appointments, that's a big problem. I have a friend who owns an urgent care downstate. It's really meant for people who are on vacation. But what she's seeing is retirees that are moving to Delaware can't get into doctors, and they're going to urgent care. And a lot of times they're going to urgent care too late. And they're using urgent care as their primary care because they can't get into primary care.
Yeah, that's right.
So the report goes through a whole bunch of different parts of health, including mental health. Delaware women have more poor mental health days than Delaware men at 4.5 days per month. And maybe some of that stress. 5.1% of Delaware women are without health insurance, and that's within women as a whole, disproportionately impacts Black women and Hispanic women. And the maternal and infant mortality rates are still very high in the state, but are worse again for Black women and Hispanic women. And so the report goes through health overall, but I think, the thing that we have to get back to is that, we can't just have good policies. We have to have that access. And if we, it's not just one thing, but that we definitely need a medical school. We need, better environment. We need better policies so that our OBGYNs aren't closing down one after the other. And, we need to know that, as a whole, we have to, everything, it's not just health, it's economics, it's education, and they all go together. Right. If one starts failing, then, they all fall.
They all fall. It's interesting. Two of the notes that I saw in the report is that Delaware currently has the, Health Professional Shortage Area, HPSA. And in order to get off of that rating, we need at least 76 more practitioners. 76 more practitioners. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Let's break it down. So if you've got someone spending $85,000 a year for med school, dental school, PCOM is $86,000 a year.
PCOM for the audience?
Yes. Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Yes.
Great school. Still, you're coming out with a $500,000 deficit once you live a little while you're in school. So the $10 million question is, if primary care doctors are making between $80,000 and $100,000, how are we supposed to crack that nut? How's that going to happen? Well, it's impossible. That's why everybody's going into the specialties.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying to get started earlier with my life, get out of my mama's basement. Can I just come out of that bedroom I've been in since I was 10?
Yeah.
And have a life with my husband, start a family. But you can't do it if you got that kind of debt and you're making this amount of money. Well, so primary care must be prioritized in every state.
Yeah, I guess when I saw that number, I kept thinking, and I know because I've got friends and I know and et cetera about how they incurred this debt, and it's unrealistic, is that if we have this kind of a deficit in order to make it, why are we not writing off the cost of medical school?
Hello.
Why are we not doing that?
Exactly.
Why are we not considering that because we're in that particular position? Now, let me go to our babies. We also still, even though we're doing better, we still have a high infant mortality rate in the state of Delaware. So I don't get it. Go ahead.
I can tell you why we don't get it, because there's no issue. The issue is I don't see you, I don't feel you, I don't hear you.
Yeah.
Period. Okay, so it's not a genetic difference. Allison Felix, track runner.
Yes.
Won gold medals. Why she almost died having her child? Serena Williams,
yeah.
Top athlete. We think they didn't get free medical care? Of course they did. Tell me why they almost lost their child in their life. Why? Because I don't see you, I don't feel you, I don't hear you.
Yeah.
That is the problem. It is a problem. It's a problem with the Latino community.
Yes.
If I think you're just coming in for drug-seeking behavior, you want a hot meal, or you just want a place to sleep tonight, I'm going to give you the minimum.
Yeah.
But that's not the deal.
Yeah, no.
I'm here for help, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But you don't teach cultural sensitivity.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it makes you have to layer, in my mind, cultural competency on everything when it comes to any demographic and sub-demographic of women in terms of how we show up.
Correct.
So, let's talk about that a bit, is that, when we talk about cultural competency, I wonder if people understand what the definition of that is. It's not just race. It's not just gender. It's class. It's a variance of things. And it's interesting at times you hear, thinking back to the whole voting thing, when you hear people talk about the Delaware way, whatever that might look like, where are women in that, in terms of that consideration in the state of Delaware? I say that these type of forums in and of themselves are there to say, no, it's about what we want as women and what we need as women. And that's what our electorate should be offering to us as well. What are you all thinking?
I think I'll get a little story time.
Okay.
So I was advocating, and this is why we need more women in office.
That's right.
That's what I was in Legislative Hall, and there was a bill that talked about providing tampons to women in prison. Because women in prison were making tampons out of other materials and getting infected.
Oh.
And I was the only woman at the table, and I was surrounded by a group of men who were largely supportive, but an older group of men. And the debate was, if we provide free tampons, do we still have to provide pads?
Beg your pardon?
And I had to explain sometimes, you have a heavy flow and that's just the way it is, right? That's just the way it is. And everyone at the table turned bright red.
Medical issue.
And the longer I talked, the more they just said, okay, fine, Melanie, whatever you want, we'll just go with it. But the point being is that you have people in the legislature that are making decisions about women and girls. And they don't necessarily reflect the population, but they're very confident about the decisions they're making. And so you have this really kind of vicious cycle. And the other thing that happened that was a bit scary is we were working on a bill on paid parental leave. And at the time, the debate was whether teachers deserved it. Okay? Whether teachers should deserve it, because
they deserve anything they need.
According to some male legislators, you can time your pregnancies like an Uber ride. Okay. And so
these are the discussions.
They know something. They cracked the code. They know something we don't know. And the discussion was, well, I think they can have their babies in May, so that they can be home for the summer. And I know someone who did that. So I don't think they need paid parental leave. And all the women in the room said, oh
my God, exactly.
That's why it's important to have women at the table. And representation matters. So thank goodness you were there. But on an average day, we know that some of these decisions are being made in that way. That, in my mind, is where advocacy comes in, because we realize in the business of life that everybody can't be at a committee meeting. They can't be here, they can't be there. But we should basically say, in terms of a women's agenda for the state of Delaware, there should be a common agenda with variations of that. Yeah.
And I want to add something to that. We are all different. All of the races are different. Women, we shouldn't be a blank prescription, right? Right? What medications are good for you may not be good for me. That's right. Yeah. So we have to be looked at as individuals.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's not what we're getting.
Well, ladies, this in and of itself could be a whole show, but I want to thank you so much for watching. Thus far, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back again. So thank you so much, panelists. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Looking for a reliable and efficient way to travel around Delaware? DART has a variety of routes and schedules to meet your needs, providing service in Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex counties. Whether you are commuting to work or exploring the sights and sounds of the state, our fleet of buses are well maintained, equipped with modern amenities. Public transportation is the greener alternative. Plan your trip today. Download our transit apps or visit dartfirststate.com.
I want to go to opioid addiction and the things that we're hearing overall about how Delaware is presented. What does that mean as it relates to women and mental health and those kind of things? What are you seeing in your practice branch?
What I constantly see is women who are self-medicating. And they're self-medicating because of the stress, because of the depression. When you think about daycare for your children, marital issues, even being a caretaker, it becomes so stressful, it's so overwhelming. It's like, I can't find a doctor, so I'll self-medicate. That's what I'll do. And these are the people that I'm now seeing. The problem is, especially in the rural areas, but even in the urban areas like Wilmington, big deal, you have one facility for 30,000 people. That's not gonna work. I mean, and when I get to the rural areas, there's nothing. And I think someone mentioned it earlier, I can't remember who, but we run to the urgent care or emergency room and they become the primary care attention that we're getting, and it's not enough. And they end up staying in this vicious cycle over and over and over. And the thing that disturbs me the most is that we're not fixing it on the front end. So by the time we get to the back end, it's almost impossible to cure or find a solution that's going to be helpful to that particular person and or their family and or the community.
I get it when you talk about, all of the issues. Women are carrying the weight of the world and dealing with all those things too. But I'm going back to something you all said earlier about cultural competency as well, and how I show up at my healthcare practitioner, and do they understand perhaps maybe in my assertion for pain or whatever it is that maybe, you're giving me this prescription or what have you, or did you listen to what I was saying? And because you didn't, maybe, or you didn't understand or how I present it, am I getting the right care? Am I getting something that ultimately might take me down the road of addiction? Or what are you thinking, doctor? I see you over there. What are you thinking?
So the problem is twofold. One, there's a matter of trust. So when you try to get African Americans and people of color in a study, they don't know that they trust the process. So if you're not a part of the study, I want to give you what worked for the other 80,000.
The majority.
That don't look like us, feel like us, have systems like us. So when you use that medication, and it doesn't work for me, and my side effects are thus and such, but you've decided that that's not a side effect because they didn't have it. So you know what I'm saying? So it is—
You're left to your own devices?
It almost is if we need to rewrite history, to be honest with you. And there's an initiative out there to do that. You'll hear about it soon. But we really have to almost rewrite the medical books, put ourselves in it so that we're a part of it. It's a very interesting time. And I want to piggyback on something that's said. And what I want to share is that one of my clients said to me that when I go to see anyone from mental health services, they're using a white medical model that they're trying to superimpose on me. Correct. Or it could be Asian or whatever. So it really speaks to the whole cultural competency.
From a cardiology stance, a urology stance,
That's right.
cancerous stance.
That's right.
Because we don't trust the process to be a part of that initiative.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with COVID.
Well, we say we, right? And clearly persons of African-American descent and what have you, we have a history of not having good experiences with medical trials and things of that nature. Yeah. And it's true.
Does it help that I went to Tuskegee?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I did try. But in addition to that, I'm thinking about everyday woman going and presenting and saying, you know, I'm overwhelmed, or I might be suffering from postpartum depression, or whatever it might be. And is it like, get over it? Or what exactly am I getting if that practitioner is already overtaxed and not listening, or maybe didn't have the cultural competence layer? We know we didn't get it in medical school. So what is it in and of itself that you're walking away with as the aspect of medical care? What's happening with Latina community?
One of the things, I just attended a opioid festival, I want to say. It was awareness. And one of the things that I was hearing amongst my community was the insurance issue. You cannot heal somebody with a drug addiction in 30 days.
That's right.
Why are we using that as a realistic number for treatment? Why are insurances making that decision? Man, we cannot. Exactly. There you go.
I actually attended today a victim services conference that's put on by the Delaware Criminal Justice Council. And some of the practitioners there, because they're sexual assault, abuse, a lot of different things that were going on. But we began to talk about the needs of children who required long-term mental health care and the fact that the waiting lists were so long. They're not inpatient programs and things like that in the state of Delaware. They're waiting lists for out of state even in and of itself. So, you know, it's starting very early with these kinds of things potentially that we might even be seeing in school and things of that nature. No one's really talking about that. And it concerns me because we go to school. We're going to talk about education in depth in the next segment, but you go to school in and of itself, and how is that kid presenting, or what's happening as it relates to the whole family unit in and of itself, and who's unpacking that? Who's unpacking that as it relates to a health issue?
That whole stigma associated with mental health is a major issue.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we really need is education and awareness early on.
Yes.
But we can't get that. I think someone asked a question earlier, why is this happening? It's happening because we got the wrong people in office.
Okay.
We need to get different people in office. We need to vote.
I hear you.
Funding them.
I hear you.
To support the people long-term funding.
Well, ladies, we really could continue to talk about this by itself, definitely in a different segment in and of itself, but we really have to move on. And I just want to say thank you again so much for coming out. I'm sure these conversations will continue. I actually heard from the producers there that there's about 4 or 5 segments that came out of these conversations that we're having. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
If you're a woman that needs help and needs some wraparound services, we at the Delaware Health Equity Coalition, Dr. Sidney Teal, Dr. Velma Scantleberry, and myself, we'd be more than happy to see you. We are located right in 19802 on Boehner Boulevard. See you soon.
Welcome back to What's on the Ballot for Women. I'm Sharice Brewington-Carr. It's my pleasure to be your host, and joining me for this segment to talk about education and economic matters is
Trisha Moses, business owner of KD Beauty Supply in Middletown, Delaware. Also own Within Your Reach Properties, LLC.
Thank you.
Kimberly Chambers. I am the president for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Delaware chapter, where we advocate for Black women and girls.
Yes. Laura.
Yes, hello. I'm Dr. Laura Sanders Morris, and I am an advisor for Georgetown University Racial Justice Institute and also a proud member of Wilmington chapter of the Links.
Yes, definitely. Melanie?
Hi, I'm Melanie Russellvin. I'm the director of the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy, which is a statewide organization dedicated to women and girls.
Thank you, ladies, for joining me. And we're going to turn our attention, this segment, to our money, our purse, and also to talk about education. So let's start with some factoids that I discovered. 28,000, there's 28,000 small businesses in the state of Delaware, which employs about 227,000 jobs. 42% of them are women-owned. Per the Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce, 583 of them are Black-owned. So, Trish, I want you to talk a little bit about what's it like, you know, being in business, and you know, what kind of challenges do you have, and what would you like to see differently going on?
So I would say that I feel like the women, even though the women sector is the fastest growing business segment as it relates to, you know, businesses, we a lot of times struggle in the area of access and funding, more so than our, you know, gender counterparts. We and even more so when it comes to being a Black woman-owned business, a lot of times we're kind of left out when we're looked at in terms of the success rate. So our businesses a lot of times are self-funded. We talk about wealth building. You know, everyone wants a part of the American dream, but a lot of times, you know, it seems unreachable for us, even though we have the ideas, we have the intellect, we have the grit, we have the know-how, we know how to get it done. A lot of times we don't have access. The access is limited, and then when it comes to like the resources, you know, identifying the various resources out there that are available to us. Fortunately, I was able to tap into the Black Chamber. I am a member of the Black Chamber, and other chambers are available. But even with that, you frequently hear that, you know, the funding piece is just not there, you know. And we also struggle in the area of bringing on team members, so staffing shortages across industries. It's not just with one particular industry. And I've seen it with both my beauty supply business as well as the property management business. When you're looking for qualified staff, people that are invested and really want to work, and have the training to be able to deliver on the needs of the employer. A lot of times the training and that a lot of that could be spoken to when we get to the education piece, but making sure that individuals are leaving school with a certain, not just technical skills, but also soft skills to be able to interact with customers and what have you. So there's just so many barriers, obstacles, that how I meet those challenges is like, you know, being able to, you know, have like working as a family business with my daughter and really demonstrating to my team members that I value and appreciate them, to help with retention. And in terms of like just being connected, making sure that I expand my network in order to identify what resources are out there and available.
Okay. And I was just before you go there, Kimberly, I think one of the things that I always look at in terms of purchasing goods and services and things like that, I'm always looking first and foremost for a woman-owned business, you know, because we, you know, women, we're the ones, we do most of the purchasing. We have the purchasing power in and of itself, but looking at a woman-owned business, and I implore, you know, everyone to do that as well, particularly because women-owned businesses often don't do well, or they don't make it in and of itself. So Kimberly, you had something to say?
I was just going to say that I'm often, probably a little bit too much, on TikTok trying to keep with my daughter and keep in the know. And there are a lot of creative business women out there, women who have a business that just don't have the necessary resources to blow up the way we know they could if they had the resources and the education. The National Coalition does have in the past had have education and seminars and webinars on how to tap into some of those resources. So that's how we help us move forward.
Yeah, so advocacy is very important in terms of, do you even know? Did anybody know where Katie Beauty Supply was and what have you? Or just in general, not saying that you didn't advertise, but just in general, when we see, ask the question, is this a woman-owned business? Or, where are they, in the state of Delaware per se? So Melanie, it makes me think, again, you recently, hot off the presses, there's a report as it relates to the status of women in Delaware. What does it say as it relates to women-owned businesses and things of that nature? And then also I want to make sure that you tell folks where they can get this report.
Sure. So the report can be found at de.gov/women. And it's our new report. It goes into data not just on economics, but education, demographics, leadership, the whole gamut. And I think one of the things that the report goes into a bit is that, women, one of the reasons women are struggling and to have the capital for business is because of the cost of childcare. And childcare, according to the First State Pre-K Coalition, the estimate for childcare for one child in Delaware is $11,834 a year. And so if we know a lot of the women can't get capital and they're self-funding and they want to have a family, then, that's a big challenge. We also know that, think about the state and the state's doing business with the state. The state is one of the largest employers in the state. And we know from a recent study that the majority of contractors are not that do business with the state are not women, are not people of color. That's it. One of the reasons we have to keep track of this data is we have to be able to see what the barriers are and see what's not working.
So in my mind, that would be an advocacy metric that we need to pay attention to is that for the state or any other entity is that why aren't we hiring or why aren't we contracting with more women-owned businesses here in the state, and keep that data and keep that information going forward. It just makes me think about, what are you thinking, Laura, as you think about women-owned business in the state?
I'm thinking a few things. I'm thinking, one, I really appreciate the report that you've done.
Yes.
Because the data is so important, and quantitative is often respected more by males. However, we can't negate qualitative and storytelling and the cultural piece for us with storytelling. And so, there's a lot of focus on what isn't happening and that we haven't had access. And that is not a new conversation. What is new, though, I think we could look at it a little differently and have the conversation be more about, this is the solution. So you keep telling us we don't have access. Now we want to tell you the solutions. And so we need you to listen to entrepreneurs. We need you to listen to women who are engaged also in the second shift. Women are working all day long and then come home, they take care of their families. Then the second shift happens, the side gig the side gig, which they really want to grow their own business. So the truth telling is what has to happen.
I just want to remind everyone in the audience too that part of the reason for this show in and of itself was that we are past primaries now. So we're in that season where individuals are competing, and we're going to be making a decision come November 5th for a general election in and of itself. So we're hoping that folks are leaning in and they will listen to what we're saying about these issues and why it's important to us and what we want to see happen in the future to make it better. You're right, solutions. Not just talk about the issues, but also talk about solutions. And one of the things that comes to mind also, and I heard you, Melanie, talking about it too, in the last segment where we were talking about health issues, is that we've got commissions and councils and all those things throughout, and our women represented on those subcommittees or places where these decisions are being made about who gets the contract and who doesn't get the contract. And is anybody asking a question or setting aside that there should be a certain percentage for women? And if it's not, then why not? Those are things I think that we need to be paying attention to. What do you think about that?
So a lot of other states do it that way. When they're evaluating proposals and contracts, they say, and including the federal government does it that way, they give extra points for not only women-owned, minority-owned, veteran-owned, disability-owned. So, that's something that we should seriously look at, because right now we don't do that, and we know that the needle isn't moving, and it might not unless we, make it more of an incentive to not only have those types of companies, but have those types of subcontractors too. So that's really common in other places, and I think if it's not working, we need to look at some other options.
I agree. I agree with that. We definitely need to look at some other options and what have you, or no, moreover, demand that these are the options that we want for women in the state of Delaware. So let's turn our attention a lot to education. Let's talk about education, because, it makes me think that in terms of the type of vocation that a woman wants to do or what she goes in, she has to be prepared, in and of itself, educationally and et cetera. The state of Delaware is ranked number 45 in the 50 states as it relates to educational competencies. I think I'm looking at the percentage of young people who were not reading at proficiency at fourth grade. 75% of fourth graders are not reading at the proficiency level in reading. 82% of eighth graders are not at the level of proficiency in math. So these are our tomorrow entrepreneurs, our tomorrow whatever, raising families, doing, those kinds of things. But I don't get it. 45 in 50. This state has, I would say, 1,000 school districts in and of themselves, and in policies that relate to what's going on in education, and our children are failing in and of itself. And it's not related only to a specific demographic. This is the entire state who's rate at 45. So, ladies, what do you think about it? Laura, what are you thinking?
Are you serving breakfast?
Yeah, well, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many issues with this. I mean, and one of them that you can see during the pandemic, and everyone keeps talking about children lost a great deal during the pandemic, but it really, what the pandemic showed is that there's a problem in general. There's a problem in the classrooms in general. We're still trying to teach to students in the same way we did before there were electronic devices. Things, there's the way in which we want to approach parents. Once the numbers are low, then we blame parents. And then we also blame teachers. So there's so much blame in the conversation, and it doesn't really focus on children and the value of education.
Well, let me just muddy the water a little bit more here, and how we got to 45. It talked about our test scores, chronic absenteeism. I put down the number of districts. They didn't list that, and that it's just the 2,530 students are chronically absent in and of itself. So it makes me think, what's happening within the family unit. That's not a blame. It's just, are we cognizant of what's happening, that child is not getting to school and is absent? What's taking place there in that entire community, not only just in the home, but these are things that are issues as to how we got to, and it's not just COVID. It's just not the pandemic. We've been working on this for a while. And I know we're going to get some great questions from the audience as well. And I know that there's some efforts and things moving forward as it relates to this, but 45 out of 50, Delaware is too small for us not to be doing better on behalf of children and with children here in the state. What are you thinking, Kimberly?
I'm thinking back some time ago. I'm doing my story now.
That's all right.
When I used to be a business administrator for a small charter school, 99% African American. We had various situations. We had situations where the child sometimes stays at mom's house, and then they didn't bring their homework to school because their homework was at mom's house, and it caused a bunch of problems. We had some teachers that didn't spend time with the child, and we had certainly parents that came to school ranting and raving about something that the teacher may have said to the child. Not saying that they should or should not, but we saw a multitude of things like that. So when I stopped working there, I started tutoring kids. And so I would go to a person, a ninth grader who needed help with algebra that couldn't do multiplication. Multiplication was learned back in elementary.
Third grade?
Yeah. So this child was moved along, not
socially promoted,
not grasping the concepts.
Wow. Ladies, what are you thinking?
I mean, it's not the whole solution, but I think it's part of the solution. The truth is we have teachers in Delaware who will go to Pennsylvania to teach because they know they can make more money in Pennsylvania. So, and New Jersey right now is debating, right now in New Jersey, if you're a public school teacher in New Jersey, you have to live in New Jersey, but they're debating to change that. And what do you think will happen if they change that residency requirement and Delaware teachers can make a lot more money driving to New Jersey? And I've never taught, but I have substituted once or twice. And let me tell you, I mean, you could pay me $1 million. That is the hardest thing.
Yes.
I mean, whatever it is, it's not enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I came home once, I was like, this.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, and I was talking to a friend who had taught kindergarten for 30 years. She goes, what happened to you? And I was like, oh my God.
Well, we learned a lot during the pandemic when the kids had to be at home, right? And it's like, God bless the teachers, you know, and when they go back, just in general, to be able to manage that child. When I say manage the child, I'm talking about from beginning to the end of the day and all the needs that they have because they're parenting also.
And I think we have to be realistic a bit, right? So right now we can have up to, 25 plus kids in a class.
Just unreal.
We're pretending like the teacher can differentiate for all these kids and have all this different issues going on. And I think of course it doesn't work, right? We need to think of, really think out of the box. But what I get back to time and time again, because we know master teachers, which are really teachers in the classroom 10 years, most Delaware teachers are not in the classroom 10 years because they leave the profession before that.
Yeah.
And they leave for lots of reasons. But one of the things that drives me a little batty as a women's rights activist is a lot of jobs that are women dominant. It's, you're not doing it for the money. We can pay our bills with kudos. You can't pay your bills with kudos. Women should be able
and teachers to buy supplies and things of that nature.
Women should be able to be in careers and pay their bills and not have 3 jobs and stay in a career and grow in a career. But right now it doesn't add up. And a lot of Delaware teachers are quitting within the first 5 years. So they're never getting to that master teacher level. And that's why we really need to think differently about the occupation and really invest in the people who are doing the job. Because we know no matter what's happening at the school, if you have an awesome teacher, your kid is good.
Yes, go right ahead. And then we'll go to you, Laura.
If I could just add to that, because in addition to the teachers, it does take a village.
Yeah.
A lot of times our children are starting out in nurseries, daycare programs, Head Start, pre-K. And a lot of times you think about the teachers or the child care providers from those programs are often they don't have any protections. Like teachers have the union, and these child care workers, they don't have any, they don't have any real advocacy group working on behalf of them to make sure that they're getting the required training, making sure that they, there are, certain hours of the day that they're entitled to certain number of breaks. So I'm thinking about that, but I'm also thinking about it takes a village in terms of the support for families.
Right.
We often, when you think about the schools, oh my goodness, the schools, there's a specific need there, but you talked about the trauma for these families. One of the things that I remember coming out during COVID was how much of an increase the abuse claims that were coming into the state had gone up because children were at home.
Right.
Yep. And so, who's going in and providing that level of support for those families, for that mom, that single parent, that single dad that is, not trying to do it all.
Right.
Trying to do it all and really don't have the support or the resources to be able to, because I think it really starts there. And then I want to add one more thing, just on my mind. Okay. There are number of organizations that are funded. I think that there needs to be more accountability. What are those dollars? Are you fulfilling your commitment, what you said that you're going to do? And that that would be a legislation piece, but if we're giving you money and you're saying that you are going to provide this level of support for 500 families, then we want to see it because those are taxpayers' dollars.
We've got to wrap up on this one. The time went by really quickly, but I keep thinking as expensive as it is for childcare, and then you hear and we know that the childcare provider, childcare worker, who has one of the most important jobs there is being paid less than livable wage. Yes. Is unacceptable. So where is the money going? And so that's something to think about, is that we really need to think about that again with our elected officials and et cetera, to look at what's happening as it relates to that structure that you're paying out thousands of dollars, $11,000, I think you said, a year for our child care. And then ultimately that worker who's taking care of your child, the most important thing ever is making nothing and trying to figure out how to work that out. I've been given the cue, so we have to go to break, and this conversation will continue. When we come back from break, we're going to also have our former panelists join us, and then we want to hear from the audience. Thank you.
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interest of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly. Federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. We just want to thank everybody for being here, but now we want to hear from the audience. We want to get your great questions. So anything, education, our purses, our money, and health. So yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ladies, your phenomenality to say that. So I'm going to turn our attention to the bills. So I'm Chaplain Major Shelby Aston, proud to say first woman chaplain in the history of Delaware. California 2019, came back in 20. I think just a disparity. I mean, we talk about women, well, we talk about veteran women who got all kinds of things that come on top of that. One of the things we don't talk about a lot is, and in Project 2025, we'll go back to the ASVAB being something that's mandatory. Also, what they're trying to do is go back to the draft, which would include women. Yeah. So what I want you to speak to is, how would that be a game changer for women if women are also included in this draft?
It's interesting that you, thank you so much for your questions, and thank you for your service. We really appreciate that. It's very interesting when we think about women, again, because we're showing up everywhere. Women have been in service in the military since the beginning of time. And so when you talk about the draft and reinstituting the draft and considering women in all the hats that we wear, what's going to happen to the family? What will happen to community as a whole? And that's the first thing that comes to my mind. If you do that, if you remove the woman from the community, what will take place? Ladies, what do you think about that?
I have a huge problem with that. Military mom, military wife, military daughter-in-law. Yeah. I mean, our family has always been committed to service, right? And I have two sons in the Army, husband, former Air Force, father-in-law from former Army, and my mother-in-law, retired Navy chief. And, the conversations around the table are interesting during the holidays. But one of the things that they talked about the most is, being when they decided to, enlist into the military, it was their choice. It was their choice. My daughter, however, is choosing a different path, and she has that right to be able to do that. And, taking that away, it goes back to what Dr. Coker said earlier. A lot of times we're not seen, and that is a problem. That is what's on the ballot this election season. Making sure our voices are heard and making sure that we're seen, because those things matter. I want young people out there that are listening to understand, to go back and read that page. And
Project 25, yeah.
Project 25, and think about how that is going to impact them. Because I thought about it when I saw that, and I think about all the different personalities within my family, my sons versus my daughters, and which career path they will decide on, and I want them to have that choice.
It's interesting that the thing that came to mind also, and I just want to reference, Project 2025 is a document, just in case for our listeners, it's a document that was developed by the Heritage Foundation and has been linked to one of the presidential candidates that is attempted to separate themselves from it, but it looks as if it has a particular agenda. Read it, Project 2025, you can find that. I think it's project2025.org. And to look specifically at not only just the military, education, our economics. They want to do away with the Department of Education. It's just ridiculous, some of the things that are in there that literally are a mantra for what a particular administration may look like. And again, our purpose here is to make sure that we're informing folks about voting and who you should be voting for and thinking about that is not expounding that issue. Anybody else as it relates to military, any other thoughts?
The thought that comes to my mind, though, is the humanity piece and not seeing us, women in particular, as humans. It's okay to tell us what to do with our bodies, but now we should go ahead and fight for our country.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's disgusting.
Absolutely. Good point.
Yeah. It is. How about that? Jones, you have thought? You let it go? Yes, sir? Go ahead. Let's go.
I second that emotion.
Yeah.
we all do.
Yeah.
As you said, if you have the choice, that's great.
That's different.
You to tell us we can't do this,
mandate,
we must do that. Are you kidding me?
It's control. It's control. And this election cycle is about our choice, our vote, our way.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yes.
All right. Okay, very good. Very good. Next questions? Is there another question? We have a question out there about education. Come on, Miss Mimi. I know you want to tell us about that number 45 ranking. I know you do. We've got an advocate and a civil rights icon amongst us in our audience that knows all about it. Yes, ma'am.
Now, I don't have a question, but I just want to say, I just need to say, we talk a lot about education. We talk a lot about the profession of teaching and that kind of thing. And we claim that we really take a great pride in education, that we treasure it. We don't. And we need to stop lying about it because we allow anybody to teach. And whether they can understand how children learn doesn't matter as long as they're there. So I really think that, and I've been dealing with this for a long time, but I really think that this time, because I'm getting old and I need to put the legislation through, I really do believe that this year I'm going to try and get legislation through that teachers are educational engineers. They should be trained as such, taught as such, and our children will reap the benefits. I'm dead serious.
Thank you so much. It's interesting. Thank you, Miss Mimi. We were just talking, and just so you all know that the mother and the daughter over here. So if you saw in terms of the interaction and the passion, that's where it came from. But we were talking on the couch just before about the value, just the thing you were talking about, or the devaluation of education. So Laura, speak to that.
Yeah, I just think it comes down to the value Because if we do not value education, you can't say you value education and you don't put money in the school system. You can't say you value education and then when your children are educated, you don't want to vote on a referendum for teachers to get an increase in salary. You can't say you care about education and you don't value parents and you don't value mothers. Because we are the ones who make the difference in the household and we birth children. So we need a campaign really around the value of education because the Department of Education for any candidate to want to remove that in the United States, we don't have to name who, I just know I'm with her because the Department of Education cannot be eliminated from America.
So with that, Maria, what are you thinking about that when we talk about the value of education and the need for cultural competency and making sure that all children, Hispanic children included, are educated? What do we need to make that happen?
Representation. We need more of us to go out there, spread the word, and really hit the ground with it. I mean, we're in a warfare. That's how I see it. Why are we fighting? This is important. Our future is our children. Not the 89-year-old that's sitting, collecting a check, sleeping on national television.
Correct. Oh my goodness.
That bothers my soul.
That sounds like a cliche that we need representation, but it's so true if you think about it.
It's very true.
It's so very true because you, as someone said earlier, that if you see it, then you think kids can achieve it. So representation is so important.
I have to say, as it relates to economics, is there another question back there? Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm reading regarding the reproductive rights of the reproductive rights in religious church and liberty.
My question is, I hear a lot of Christians that I interact with saying they're not voting because of our Democratic candidate is, that they see it as the reproductive rights being a pro-abortion issue. But what do you say to make them understand that it's not just about pro-abortion, it's about the reproductive life and health about our bodies?
Well, I think you're answering that, and certainly in that when you talk about reproductive rights and a women's health care in and of itself, abortion is just one aspect of it. And there's so many other aspects that are related to that. And I think that's where education and awareness comes in that conversation. At no point in time, folks are telling people, and the candidates that I plan to support is not saying that we want you to turn your back on your belief. Matter of fact, she has said that. Don't want you to turn your back on your belief. But when you look at the conversation and what we've heard about, at least in 2 cases, women dying in Georgia, it had to do with, in one instance, with the child very much desired and et cetera, and things happen during pregnancy and what have you that are life-threatening kinds of things. And she was refused health care to the extent that she lost her life. That's unacceptable. And when you think about it, and it's disproportionate in terms of it being unacceptable because many people look in various ways, if you will. So I think it means that we really have to, when we hear our pastors, our rabbis, and others with that incorrect assumption or et cetera, that it's our responsibility to educate. And if we don't know or are not able to, then we can certainly turn to the Dr. Joan Cokers and other medical professionals and what have you that can help and come to our faith houses to help us make good decisions.
I think that needs to be a rule between now and November.
Be sooner than later, right?
That is going to help a lot of people make up their mind. I've heard that opposition towards the reproductive rights restoration. I've heard the opposition from men and women. And I'm really big on media and campaign and exposure. I wish we would, between now and November, read a page out of Project 25 every day so that we could see the horrors of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Between now and November. Thank you. It's such a great time tonight.
Thank you. I want to ask one thing that I saw and we'll wrap up. One thing that I saw in the report that you had, Melanie, is that women are still not paid at the same rate that inequitably as anybody, in particularly. And then you start to look at it's white women, it's black women, it's Latina women, and et cetera. Start there, and then it starts to get worse for every segment of our population, this demographic we're talking about in terms of women. There was not a category in all the categories that we looked at in vocation. It didn't matter what your educational level was. It didn't matter what the vocation was. Nobody was making what a white male was making. And so what do you say to that?
So in Delaware, white women make 81 cents to a white male. Black women make 61 cents compared to a white male, and Hispanic women make 53 cents. And the wage gap just persists. I think what's tricky about the wage gap is that despite the fact that more women are going to college, like if you look at Delaware State University, you look at Wilmington University, you look at University of Delaware, more women are going to college than men, and more women are graduating than men, and more women are getting master's degrees. So it's not the lack of education, but that wage gap, it just persists and persists and persists. And, you know, there's lots of reasons for that, but it doesn't help Delaware as a whole because there's always a calculation, right? Is it worth it for me to work? If I have little kids and I'm paying for childcare and it's almost $12,000 a year, is it worth it for me to work? And Delaware actually has a smaller percentage of working women that are, they have a larger percentage of working women that are opting out of the workforce compared to Maryland and New Jersey. And part of that is that life calculation. Can I afford to go to work? And we know that the repercussions for women, especially towards retirement, are huge. If you opt out of the workforce, even for a fairly small amount of time, it really impacts your economic security overall.
Staying in poverty, you know, in and of itself. So, even more important, I think, for, again, taking us back to why we started this, is the importance of voting. I think that you, coming now is October the 12th. By October the 12th, you must be registered to be able to vote here in the state of Delaware. If you are 18 before, Joe, help me. Yes, 18 before November 5th. By November 5th, you can register by October 12th in order to vote, and we must vote. You've heard some of the issues. There are even more issues and what have you that are relevant to women and the people we love and our families. We must vote. And beyond voting, also make sure that who's elected is kept accountable to what they've committed to do. I think is very, very important. I just want to say thank you to the ladies. But just before we end, there's something that I read. Audre Lorde is one of my favorite poets. And it's about issues. And so again, women, we're not a monolith in and of itself, but she says there is no such thing as a single issue. Struggle, we do not live single issued lives. Our struggles are particular, but we are not alone. So, and I'm so glad that you all were able to join us tonight, and all of you, and we're gonna keep going, all right? Thank you, ladies. Yeah. Yeah.